the daytime side, they're actually gonna modify it to where it's only gonna be one shift, which is Sunday through Thursday, and yeah, and then this is like a contract period for the union workers, so they're not very happy about it. So there could be a possibility that they could actually go on strike.
Well, look, I don't even know how I got this job, but I'm in the warehouse industry too. But I'm a logistics engineer, which is basically like an electrical engineer type of shit.
Which is pretty tight.
Right. But I didn't even study for it, bro. I don't even know how I managed to get the job. I just went for the interview. I was like, cool, let me sit through. And next video, you know, I got hired one day after because they called me. But I learned a lot of shit, and they said that because I don't have a degree in this, they're gonna offer me the qualification and they're gonna pay for it. So like,
yeah, that's actually
That's
really
dope. Oh, we're live
and
now.
I was talking with a couple of my homies back in US too, and I'm gonna try and see if I can get a job over there.
Yo, alright, so yeah, we are live right now, and
Where's Bam?
shout out to the good people who tune in and who catch the show later. We appreciate you. We're gonna have Bam Bam coming up later on. Yeah, he's gonna be coming up sometime later.
He's gonna do the whole fucking entrance when he come in.
Yeah. Get the music and everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like the whole WWE entrance.
Yeah, he's gonna cut promos and all that.
Yeah, so hopefully he doesn't ruin the show that much as he did the last time. But yeah, it's good to be back. We got the OG crew here with us. We tried to get Windu as well, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with him.
He should be finishing work and should be reaching homes anytime soon because Roy works like fucking crazy hours.
Yeah, okay. So let's do a mic check.
Testing
think-
1 2 check.
Yo. Check in.
Testing, 1 2 1 2.
Alright, let me just see. Okay.
I feel like Deli's volume is low. What happened, bro?
Is it?
Yeah. Like I can hear everyone clearly, but you are like you're far away from the mic.
No, I'm right up on it. Right up on it, brother. Maybe
Now
you
I
have
can
me
hear you
turn
better.
down.
There you go.
Maybe you have me
There
turn
you
down or
go.
something. Who knows?
No. I'm actually on my phone at the minute, so
Oh, okay.
my PC took a dump.
I'm doing marketing right now for Krow. I'm getting the socials out there, getting the self promos out there.
Alright, yeah, appreciate it. So yo, what's up? Welcome to season 2 of Nest Talk. This is your host, Theslykrow. And it's cool to be back, and we got some of the OG crew back with us yet again. And so this is the show where we have a dope roundtable discussion on all things gaming, as well as what's trending in the gaming media. As always, I'm here with my guy, Agent Deli, an ex-AAA developer, and also a dope dude in general. Appreciate you coming on again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Woo, brother! Welcome to the show. Nice to be able to see that we got season 2. You know, that's actually what's important is that we got renewed for season 2, and the OG cast is still here. So happy to be here. Happy to be on. Yeah, and nice to be able to talk to everybody again. You know, look at these wonderful degenerates. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to Def Floyd in the chat, my guy. Appreciate you tuning in. And we also have the good homie from the UK, Joker Gamer V3.
Yo, Wagwan people. Yo, what's up, man? I can't believe it's season 2 already. Damn, man. It's been a while though. It's good to catch up again. Nice to see Melodic, Deli the G, you know, popping in every time, giving his little quick analysis, and Krow with his spicy topics, and Melodic with his just damn. He will just go ham if you go call him out on Nintendo, bro. Don't be dissing the homie though, but yo, Def Floyd though, yo, shout out to him because every time we stream, brother pulls up like it's a religion. So yeah, nice to see you, fam. But yeah, man, good to be back. Good to see. good to hear familiar voices. So let's get the show on the road, bro.
Yo, definitely, Deford was a day one, and he definitely shows a lot of respect to the smaller streamers and everything. So, much love to you. And we got a special guest. We got the Melodic Punk, and actually one of my favorite guests of the show. So always appreciate your insight on the topics and your passion for gaming.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, I had to look over this season 2 deal. I had to reprise my role as the Melodic Punk character. Gaming's been in a very weird state right now. That's why I've been mainly focusing on, physical health, and then really grinding hard on the music side of things in terms of performances and all that stuff. But fear not, because not only Star Wars is out, which needs a couple more patches before I start playing it, but Game of the Year by default, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, next Friday, going to the midnight release. Let's go. I'm ready, man. I'm hyped. Like, it's amazing when you have a game come out and it kind of like brings your interest back into gaming. So definitely looking forward to next week. And let's get to these topics.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Jedi Survivor is definitely pretty good, but unfortunately, there's been a lot of complaints with the frame pacing on performance mode on PS5 and the Series X consoles. So it's definitely going to be an interesting topic. So I do have a icebreaker question for y'all. So here's a topic I came up with, and are companies desensitizing physical media? And so if you take it in, like at the beginning of this gen, gamers have gotten used to the idea that, oh, now discs are no longer plug and play. You gotta wait for the copy and the transfer time to take into effect before you actually start playing the game. But now, as of late, we had a recent game release, the Jedi Fallen Order, being 150 gigabytes in size. The fact that you have to actually download the remaining portion of the game. So it's kind of like companies are desensitizing physical media. And so how do you guys feel about this being a thing right now?
Yeah, go ahead, Joker.
So for me, I knew this trend will catch on anyway, because come on, it's the same thing when the whole 2000 era, when the whole music shit was going on too. Everyone was just dumping CDs out, and then afterwards everyone was just converting to MP3s, and now it's live streaming anyway. So eventually now, looking at it, is like, yeah, games are going to do that. Companies are going to eventually make it easier for them. And also it makes it more convenient for us, because a lot of people nowadays don't want to go out there and get the physical copy, and they just want something quick and fast. So what's the best way to download? Digital, right? So yeah, for me, I can see that you're gonna get more desensitized as you go further down the line. Downloads will stop, and it's just more streaming, and you can already see that shit happening slowly, but not optimized very well to that stage yet. So eventually it will go down to full digital. So I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like for me, I did grow up with the PC. I did have the Xbox 360. I do miss the plug and play aspect of physical games. That's definitely a sore point. But yeah, like growing up on a PC, like I'm used to the whole digital aspect. Shout out to Cult Classic Cage in the chat. She's a huge advocate for physical media, collecting all the physical media and stuff like that. So how about you, Agent Deli? How do you feel about companies sort of like desensitizing the physical media for consoles?
I mean, I don't think they're desensitizing it, because they still put in the time, effort, and energy to print out the disc and stuff. It's really just it's just really just a DRM check. I mean, if you unplug your console from the internet, I mean, a lot of these games just still copy over from the disc. So I mean, I don't really understand what you're saying.
So like if you buy a Jedi Fallen Order, for example, that's
Yeah.
the I believe they didn't opt for the dual layer disc, so they didn't like put the whole full game on the disc. So you've actually have to be connected online and download the entire game. So it's kind of like you're buying a digital game at that point. I mean, you know, like the fact that you have to download the rest of the game.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's just you know, they just skimping out on the dual layer or whatever, you know. This is the first
Yeah,
time I've heard of this.
exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, this is the first time I heard of this. You know, most of my games that I've bought on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox or whatever, all come like copyable from the disc. So, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so Melodic, is this a way of companies desensitizing physical media? The fact that you know, people are complaining with Jedi Fallen Order, the fact that you have to download the rest of the game. So how do you feel about this topic?
I mean, it's really kind of unfortunate because we are kind of moving more and more into a digital world nowadays. Where like I used to really have like a lot of love for physical media, especially for like movies and stuff. Because, but the thing is like we are so used to streaming on Netflix, HBO Max, whatever. Mainly just due to the convenience factor. A lot of us, especially here in America, we want to get up, go to our go sit on our couch and just pull up Netflix, fire a movie. Where most of us don't have the patience to buy a shelf, put it together, put all these discs together, get off our ass, go to the shelf, pull the disc into the case and all that stuff. And with gaming, the reason why I kind of fell out more of physical media is mainly just starting last gen when we had the PS4, Xbox One. Yes, technically the discs are basically like a form of like DRM, like basically an unlock key, if you will. But at that point where we had to like start installing our games and everything, and on top of that, I was kind of like beginning to move over to PC. I was just like, there's really no point to this. I might as well just download the game at that point. And even with the Switch, like the Switch is kind of like the last like console that's kind of doing traditional physical media in terms, and you put the game in and it'll load instantly. But even most of my digital library on the Switch has been digital, mainly just because of convenience, and it's a portable system, so I'm able to like pick it up with me and take it to go. So I think it really just kind of comes down to things like convenience. Things like Game Pass are also available. We have like a lot of streaming services available. And then on top of that, if you're primarily a PC gamer, you're kind of used to that digital ecosystem anyway. The only thing I collect nowadays physically, like I said, are just kind of like my Zelda games and everything. I even stopped collecting vinyl physically just because it was kind of also taking up a lot of space as well.
Oh well, I mean, I again, I collect. I'm a huge, much like Triple C. I'm a huge fan of physical media as well too. So, I mean, it sucks that they didn't opt for the triple layer, you know, Blu-ray disc, in order to get to. Actually, no, I don't even think the triple layer would work as well either, because I think the game is over 100 gigs, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good
Wow.
point. Yeah.
Well, then
So it should be.
I think maybe EA either should have. I mean, I think people would have been fine with putting two discs in. You know, like one disc for like a install, like back in the Halo 3 days. You know, like a disc to
Yeah.
install, then you know, disc to play or whatever that has like
Exactly.
the first portion of the game.
Yeah.
Or they should have done what Cyberpunk and Red Dead Redemption did, which those games are very large in general as well too. That they should have had a like a data disc.
Two disc.
Yeah, they should have had like a data disc installed into the disc, so that way you can always access the 1.0 version of the game, regardless of the size of the actual game. So like once you put it in, like the console will unpack it and everything like that. And that's one way around the physical limits of Blu-ray, of the dual layer Blu-ray, which is 50 gigs, and the triple layer, which is 100 gigs. So yeah, I think that would have probably been my option for it. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, whatever the publisher wants to do, they want to make sure that they don't spend extra money on the physical sides of the game. I mean, that's just their prerogative at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, it sucks. It is what it is. But yeah, I hope that I think physical media will stick around for a long, long time. I think that as long as there's consoles, it'll always be physical media. I believe that deep in my soul.
We all want to believe that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Believe.
I believe that. I believe that deep in my soul. But it's just one of those things that I just feel like yeah, I just feel like they cut corners and stuff like that. But let's see. Cassias, with more time, could have the compressed Jedi Survivor to be a smaller size. Oh yeah, for sure. With more time, I mean, they could have spent more time optimizing. They could have, let's see, they could have made a, because I think the game is only PS5, correct? Next gen, PS5, Xbox One, yeah.
Yeah, Xbox Series X, PS5, and PC. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
perfect. Yeah,
additional ones,
yeah. With additional time, they definitely could have packed it down, and they really could have just made sure that there's only one copy of each asset on the disc, which I mean takes fine combing as well too, to go through everything and say like, hey, we're gonna cut down on the asset size and compress the audio and whatever it may. Well, actually, they'll keep the audio uncompressed, but like compress the assets and stuff like that, and pack the data better, because like there's also a way to pack the data on the disc or in the game, so that like all the assets for like the tutorial or the intro levels are closer together than the rest of the assets, like whatever it may be. So like if you have a purple lightsaber and that's not something you unlock until level 10, then you could put that farther away on the disc than the tutorial levels, and that helps with compression and asset loading times and stuff like that too. But without getting in too deep, I mean, yeah, they definitely could have had compressed it as well too. I mean, they managed to do it for huge games that have insane amounts of audio and insane amounts of depth to it as well too, like Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty is an absolutely massive video game,
Huge game.
And there's a lot inside of Call of Duty, all the layers of audio. It's insane. So yeah, if they're able to do it with Call of Duty on a physical disc without a day one patch, then they're able to do it with plenty of other games as well too. It's just a time thing. They probably didn't have any more time, and EA said, y'all gotta get this out the door.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, because like the Juggernaut Zelda's coming up soon, so like I feel like they were kind of pressured into releasing that game.
Yeah,
but let's actually get into that topic much later on.
I was saying, the last thing I was gonna say, if they delayed it, I mean, like they're gonna have to fight Starfield, Spider-Man, and whatever comes out during the summer that's unannounced. So yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
And
after
yeah,
how
June is gonna
Redfall
be June is gonna be huge as well.
Yeah.
After Redfall came out, though, I don't think Starfield's gonna be that big of a juggernaut. At least not right now with the way things are with Xbox, but we'll get into that.
They've been taken as like a fucking combo.
I mean, Redfall's size is kind of unreasonable for me too. It's 100 gigs. If you guys didn't know that.
Redfall's 100 gigs.
100 gigs?
What?
Yeah, it's like 90. It's 98 gigs. You guys didn't know that?
No way.
It looks the way that it does.
Yo.
Very large. It's a very large game.
Dang. No way. That's 100 gigs. Near 100 gigs. Okay. Yeah, so in regards to this topic, I am the same way as Deathfloyd is in the chat. I am pretty selective when it comes to physical media. I do think it's cool to collect the the disc as well as the artwork that comes with the physical disc as well. So I think that's pretty cool to keep on your shelf, or if you have any space, to store your CDs and everything. I think it's pretty cool to have that collection aspect kind of thing.
It just sucks with the way like everything is right now. And like, I mean, yeah, like digital is nice because it's convenient, but I really hate how it's taken away the ownership, especially with the way like Halo Infinite literally only had like 150 megabytes on the disc, and the rest of the game you had to download, and they're really just trying to take away the physical ownership of the games themselves, because they don't want to put like the entire game on the disc anymore. Granted, like there are limitations when it comes to Blu-ray and stuff, but it's just been annoying having to deal with like the PS5 and Xbox side of things when it comes to physical media. That's why I'm just like, screw it at this point.
Yeah. So to clarify, the Xbox Series X Redfall is 86 gigs, and on PC, let's see, Cassie said it's 94 on her.
94, yeah, that's what she said.
103 on mine. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
That might make a little bit more sense because of the other assets and everything.
maybe it was 94 gigs to install, and once you start installing, you start extracting the packages inside, so it
Probably,
eventually
but
rounded
I
up
mean,
to 100.
it's you know, like it's a big game, you know.
That with the higher fidelity you have on PC, you'll probably have a little bit more data with that.
I mean,
I'm guessing.
it's only.
maybe.
I mean, it's only like an extra. It's only an extra like 10 gigs of data, but I mean, I'm playing on medium settings and I'm getting like 28 FPS. So.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, I'm genuinely unbothered by it. I do not care. I'll play a game at 30. I don't care.
I'll tell you honestly, I seen Deli's setup. Like, brother was showing off his freaking 3090s when he came out and everything. So to get 28 drops on a medium setting, like fuck.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I posted footage earlier, and my GeForce was reporting like 40 FPS average, you know, and it was like 35, 36, and then it went down to 28 when I walked into a stronghold. So
Damn. Okay.
Unbothered. I played it for like 3 hours. I played it for 3 hours on like 30 FPS. I'm like, it's whatever, but I know a lot of people are actually bothered by it. So
Yeah,
but the only time I'll collect physical edition is only for fighting games. Yeah, I'm a big sucker for fighting games, so
that's a good
I will
one.
collect
fighting games. Yeah.
and especially like sometimes you get like digital edition, well, collector's edition, where you get like a little figure that you can put on top of your shelves and everything. So yeah, I got a couple of figures.
Speaking of fighting games,
yeah.
Speaking of fighting games, you know, Street Fighter 6. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to get into this. I wanted to get into the small topics. We did have the Street Fighter 6 demo that did drop, and they gave us a tiny look at the World Tour preview. It's like a tiny sneak peek at it. But it's pretty interesting. You get to create your character. The character creator, it is pretty extensive as it is, and how it's set up is that you're basically going around the cities, and you have various shops around the cities, so you can like buy clothes for your character. You can buy, there's like a food store you can buy, which powers up your abilities and everything, and yeah, like there's side quests, so like you have to fight certain characters around the world and everything. So I think this is like the main addition to the game, which is kind of like the 2K element in NBA 2K, like the My Player mode. But over here, they are trying to appeal to the casuals with the World Tour mode and everything like that. As it turns out, like it seems like some critics and some influencers and content creators, they did get a hands-on look at the full game. So we did have like a lot of cool impressions about this game. And yeah, I mean, like for me, when I did try the demo, like I feel like the modern control scheme, in my opinion, is a pretty good entry barrier for people who are struggling with the like the commands, like the Shoryuken command, or like let's say if you wanted to combo into level 3 super or like stuff like that. I feel like the modern control is actually pretty decent in that regard. Like you do lose access to certain moves and everything, but I feel like this is like pretty good with people who played on pad especially. So
Yeah,
what are you guys thoughts on the demo? Have you guys played the demo?
Yeah, I played it. I play on classic mode, so
Yep,
the inputs.
me too. I play on classic mode.
When I don't know if you guys, I mean, you guys are talking about like creative character and stuff like that. Did they update the demo? Because when I played it, it was only a local. And,
yeah, it was only local when I played it.
yeah, it was only local when I played it. I don't know if they.
Why? Is they made it online now?
I don't know. People keep saying that, like, they're like making characters and stuff, and then playing like the world tour stuff. I didn't get access to any of that stuff, but regardless.
Yeah, they give it like a quick sneak peek at it.
Yeah.
It's like...
okay. I thought it was never mind. I thought you were talking about a completely different thing. So, but yeah, so I played the little world tour kind of a thing, and I was only able to get to a certain point, and then afterwards it told me I have to purchase the game full, whatever.
Oh, I didn't even get a chance to play the world tour stuff. I just played local for like an hour.
My honest opinion is that doesn't bother me. I mean, that's just like a extra feature that they gave me, which is cool, which is a bonus. but I'm not there to play that, honestly. I'm there to play an actual fighting game where I'll be able to compete against other players online and fight them, really. So that's my main focus of it. The additional feature is they introduced the modern controller, which is cool because people who really wanted to get into Street Fighter didn't know how to play. I wouldn't say didn't know, it was more complicated for them, right? So playing with classic buttons, it was just a bit of a hassle. So introducing a modern style buttons, which makes it easier for the casual player, it's a cool feature, to be honest with you.
No,
but there
I
are some.
think. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, go on. Finish, go on.
No, go ahead. I interrupted you.
So for me, like I said, I always play with classic. There are some advantages and certain disadvantages, but the advantages overtake those disadvantages. Whereas the modern ones, it's a trade-off. If you're going up against certain players who are very well versed in the classic controllers, you're gonna have a bit of a difficult time because you're able to read the prediction or predict the certain moves that's about to come to you. So
Yeah, definitely.
so yeah, I mean it's all cool. Whoever plays with dynamic, bro, get off that fucking shit because you're never gonna learn that, fucker, right? You're never gonna learn it because it's only a 3-button fucking thing, and that's all you're gonna keep bashing. It's good for you. Good if you wanna chill with your girlfriend and your girlfriend doesn't have a fucking clue how to play a game whatsoever. You can give her that, like, you know what? Just press these 3 buttons. You're good to go. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. But overall, looking forward to it. Love the whole art direction that they took in. Love the whole intro into the scene where you're about to enter the fight. Plus the interaction during the loading screen where you can taunt your player, use your characters to taunt the opponents and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I had fun. It's very fluid in certain aspects when it comes to moves and everything. But then again, we only had two characters that we could play with, which is Ryu and Luke. So yeah, looking forward to the full release. I pre-ordered that shit instant when it got announced. I hope whoever in the chat and whoever's in this podcast right now, if you love fighting games, give it a shot. Try it.
Yeah,
Actually,
I mean,
don't play Street Fighter.
I don't play Street Fighter either, so I was definitely checking out this demo to see if it was friendly to newcomers, and it really is. And their onboarding process is fucking amazing, and it's great. Like, the fun of I checked out the practice and the tutorial modes, and it was like check out the fundamentals, check out all this extra stuff, and it was telling you like, hey, use this player. This player excels in closing the gap. This player this character or this move excels in like medium range engagements. Like this combo is great if as a whiff punish. And honestly, the amounts of effort that they put into the practice mode definitely makes it easier for newer players to come online and to play and to really appreciate this. So Street Fighter 6 is definitely a game that I'll keep an eye on. I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up just yet because Diablo 4 is coming around that same time.
Ooh.
But Street Fighter 6 is definitely a game that is newcomer friendly, especially if you are not a Street Fighter fan or just coming from a different video game. I don't know. After the demo, I think the demo did the opposite for me. I think I won't be buying this game after the demo.
Damn,
just because
really?
it just felt well. I'm so used to like NRS games, and I'm used to like Soul Calibur and Tekken, and mostly Tekken. So it's definitely a game that doesn't feel as fluid to combo to hit the combos as something like Tekken or NRS games. And the speed at which the game moves, obviously it's a lot faster than in old previous entries, or at least in Street Fighter 4 from what I remember playing. But it's just I feel like it's just it's two wholly different worlds coming from like a 3D fighter to a 2D fighter, or at least coming from like even coming from like Mortal Kombat on over. And I just don't think that's I'm not quite convinced that this is a game that I can put and sink as many hours, time, and energy as as a game like Tekken. So yeah, I just wasn't quite convinced. Everything felt kind of stiff, and I'm not entirely sure if I can get over that. Maybe I just haven't found a character. Obviously, it was limited to just Luke and Ryu at the time, so maybe I just haven't found a character that I have gelled with yet. So I'll be keeping an eye out for sure after launch to see if this is a game that I'll be able to pick up, because again, Tekken 8 still hasn't has release date, so I was planning on playing Street Fighter 6 until Tekken 8 comes out as my fighting game of choice, especially with the amounts of newcomer friendly stuff that's in the game, you know, and especially stuff that Tekken 8 can learn from, like frame data and stuff.
Oh,
so
yes.
Like, if you really want to dig into the game like you do, like I would with Tekken, that's all packaged in with the game without having to buy any DLC. I'm looking at you, Tekken 7. So it's definitely a game with like a full complete package. It's just I'm just personal preference. I'm on the fence about it. So, but with the actual launch date being so close to Diablo 4, it's probably going to be a no buy for me. But I will keep an eye out to see if it piques my interest, or if it's to see if what's it called?
You can
to see if my motivation. I'm interested in the game. I'm not motivated to play it. Does that make sense? I'm waiting for my motivation to match my level of interest before I actually pull the trigger, buy the game, and dive in. Because I don't want to buy the game and play it for like 2 hours, then not ever play it ever again. So that's definitely something that I do want to put time into it. I just right now I'm not motivated to do it with the summer launches coming out.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I'm looking forward to Tekken 8. Can't wait for that fucking fighting game too. So overall, like, yeah, I'll be putting time in both of them because that's my genre, that's my niche genre that I'll be playing most of the time. But yeah, Tekken 7, I agree with you. The fucking amount of characters that was locked behind DLCs, like, all right, fam, like, especially when it came to like Li Long and Fakaram and what's the other one? Is it the one from Final Fantasy?
Noctis.
Noctis, that's it. Yeah, like I wanted to try all of those characters, but everything was locked behind the paywall. So I was like, I only managed to buy Negan and Fakaram. So yeah, looking forward to that, especially when that gets released. Hopefully they don't do the same kind of bullshit that they did in Tekken 7 when it comes to like characters, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, so for me, I do stand by the fact that, you know, I am an advocate for the modern control scheme. I do think it's good, depending on the character. I mean, yeah, obviously you do lose access to some normal moves, which is important in the whole footsie battle and everything like that. With Ryu, for example, to access more normals, you have to hold the R2 button with the square, X, and circle. So this is how you get access to additional of his normal attacks. And like, for example, if you wanted to do his solar suplex, this is his forward heavy punch, you have to hold R2 and circle to access that. So like for me personally, I feel like I was able to do like some decent combos. Capcom is saying like, oh, we're gonna limit the damage by 20% by adding the modern control scheme. So obviously, like if you want to do like EX combos and stuff like that, the classic is the way to go for the maximum damage. But I still stand by the fact that like modern is still pretty decent, like to play as for certain characters. Maybe like for Ryu, for example, like I think modern is still pretty solid option. So yeah,
there are some complicated characters, that's for sure, but we'll see how that plays out when the game gets released.
Yeah, so moving on here, let's actually move on to some other smaller topics before we get into the bigger things. So we have MiHoYo actually revealed their earnings report, and apparently their latest game, Honkai Star Rail, made $40 million in just 5 days. And this is coming from their previous game, which is Genshin Impact, which made 60 million in 1 week. And it's like, bro, like they just unlocked the code for the like the perfect gacha game for some reason. Like I'm not sure how they're attracting all these whales to their games. It's like they're capitalizing on the whole anime waifu trend right now. So how do you guys feel about MiHoYo striking again gold with their earnings report and just a week of sales, $40 million on the latest game?
Indifferent.
Yeah,
Absolutely indifferent.
Yeah, I mean, Honkai has been around for at least a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they made Third Strike, so
Yeah, Honkai Third Strike was before Genshin Impact, and I played
Yeah.
a bit of it, but like I said, it's indifferent for me with the whole gacha system. I don't really care about the whole company, to be honest, if they
I mean,
made money
it's
or not.
because we're not the we're not the target audience, Joker.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You know what I mean? I
That's
do
true.
now. I do know somebody who does play gacha games, and
Mhm.
he plays them while I'm playing video games with him. Like he'll just like while we're waiting, he will check on his gachas and stuff like that. And he thinks they're great. So yeah, I guess they're play time to reward system. MiHoYo is got it down to a science. My younger sister plays Genshin. Quite a bit of it actually. So I'm assuming that they got it down to a science and they got it nailed. So
Yeah.
that everybody feels rewarded while playing.
Like,
Because
for
I'm
me-
sure we've all played gacha games where we're waiting
Oh,
hours
yeah.
and hours. And
Like,
hours
I
for
play-
one little breadcrumb.
Like I played this one gacha game, Street Fighter 2. That's only because it's got Street Fighter attached to it, right? And I used to play turn-based games like Summoner's Wars and stuff like that. But
Okay.
that was only like a pastime. But I'm not really into that whole gacha thing, like the whole waifu shit. Anyway, that's not me.
Yeah, man. I guess you said Deli, like they didn't unlock the science behind it, and it's pretty amazing how they're still able to catch on to the whales and everything.
Well, I saw actually somebody give a presentation not too long ago about the science behind the microtransactions of Genshin Impact and MiHoYo's thing, and it's very interesting. I can't remember all of the details behind the presentation, but it just was like I said, they have the data, they have their data sets, and they have their audience like down to a T. It's really good. Like they have everything nailed down. So not a single metric that they don't have measured.
And it's like even I have few friends who are really into the whole gacha games and stuff like that. And honestly, when I speak to him, he's there like, bro, instead of spending money, I can get hours of time into this game, and instead of spending money like 60-70 pound a month, I'm just gonna invest it on this game, which is there for a while, and I can just I'm just happy with what I'm doing at this point. So I'm like, cool, it's you know what I mean? But me, I'm an expensive gamer. I buy games for the consoles and PC, so that's a different story.
Yeah. The thing I will give credit for them is the fact that they were able to make a AAA experience with with their games, especially with Genshin Impact, and the fact that they had crossplay, like cross progression with mobile and PC, and I believe it was on consoles as well. So, like the fact that you can like carry over your progress from mobile to console and PC, which was it's a pretty cool, clever way of doing things. Instead of just like going just directly on mobile, like I feel like that's a pretty cool feature.
I mean, look at PlayStation Store, for example. There are so many games over there that you can honestly say this is a mobile game, fam. Like, that's it. And you can sit there and think about it. Genshin Impact, it can run pretty smooth on. I believe the minimum requirement to play that is you just need a 2020 model of a phone, which can have at least like 4 GB RAM and have enough memory size, and that's more than enough because it runs on pretty much any GPU, to be honest with you. So you don't need a lot of specs to run that game. And yeah, I mean, it's kudos to them, I guess. They figured out a formula, and it's profiting for them, so why not? If I was a company, I would be doing the same shit.
Yeah, all right. So, let's actually move on to our first main topic of the day, which is Jedi Survivor impressions. If you guys have played Jedi Survivor, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. But like in regards to the first game, I do feel like Respawn has nailed it out of the park with the fact that like you have the whole traversal elements with Cal running through the maps and everything. And you have interesting puzzle design that are like reminiscent of Zelda in a lot of ways. And then you have the combat, which is kind of like Dark Souls inspired. I did hear that the combat was a bit easier with Jedi Survivor. I think there's like some bosses which are tough, but in general, I think the game got a little bit easier than the first game. A lot of people have been claiming that the customization options for Cal and the lightsabers are pretty interesting as well. And when it comes to the actual world design, like the whole the visual fidelity and everything, when it came to the lighting and the shadows, they're saying that Digital Foundry is like making a good claim that this is like one of the best looking games with how it's looking there. So Melodic, have you actually tried Jedi Survivor?
I have not bought Jedi Survivor yet, and it's unfortunate because I'm a big Star Wars fan, and there's a couple of factors why I haven't bought it yet. I beat the first Jedi Fallen Order, which is a fantastic game. Love it. Probably one of the best Star Wars games that we've had in a while, but I haven't bought it recently because number one, just Zelda is right around the corner, so I don't really want to invest in too big of a game right before this next big giant behemoth of a game is about to come out. And then number two, with the fact that there was a lot of reports of the game coming out broken and like basically unoptimized on every platform, I just basically decided that I was gonna wait probably a couple of patches before I ever buy the game. And I remember the first Jedi Fallen Order, I had some issues with on PC, so I ended up having to wait like a couple of months to play through that game. But love Star Wars. This game looks awesome, but it's just crippled by lazy AAA game development right now.
Yeah. So yeah, let's actually get into that point, which Digital Foundry did make the claim here that actually the ray tracing was evident in both the performance mode and the quality mode, which is kind of like a lazy dev kind of thing to do. Apparently on the PC version you can turn off the ray tracing. However, the CPU seems to be heavily hampered in this port. Like it wasn't too well optimized, unfortunately. And so yeah, they said that the game dropped as low as 40 FPS at times, sometimes until like 39 FPS or 37 in performance mode on the PlayStation 5. And actually, apparently, the native resolution, it drops as low as this was 684p in the open world areas, which was kind of ridiculous if you take it in there. Yeah, so like there is like resolution scaling. So they are trying to like like bounce the resolution between 684p to 1440p using upscaling technologies. So and I feel like ray tracing and the fact that it is on the Unreal Engine 4 engine is kind of like hampering this game here. So so let me pass it to Agent Deli, and what are your thoughts on like them using Unreal Engine 4, and is this limiting the overall performance?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think there are plenty of games that are great on Unreal Engine 4. I think it's just an implementation issue, honestly. I mean, if I know that they're coming from, what's it called? The dice. You guys know what I'm talking about, the dice engine.
Yeah.
I can't remember
the top.
Frostbite.
I can't remember the top. Yeah,
word. Frostbite. You know.
Yeah.
So swapping engines, I think, is probably just an engine implementation issue. So I'm not entirely sure. I think they just put in ray tracing for the fact that they put in ray tracing. I don't think it was necessary. for the game, to be honest with you. And I don't think if it wasn't there, people wouldn't be mad about it, you know. So yeah, I don't technically think so, because I think that ray tracing is expensive all around to implement, and true path tracing is just basically not able to be done right now in video games. So yeah, I think that ray tracing is just I'm not gonna say gimmick. I think it's a novelty thing. I think it's a novelty item.
Ray tracing to me is pointless, mainly just because I prefer performance. If I have the option, I just don't see that much. Like, the only thing that impressed me about ray tracing was the Quake 2 RTX demo when that first came out. Otherwise, I always turn it off.
When it's implemented properly, like genuine true path tracing, yeah, I think that it's definitely a big immersion technology. But when it's just implemented like loosely like this, where just ray traced audio and little things like that, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I would have preferred it without it, but I don't know. Haven't played the game, haven't bought it, haven't gotten around to it, haven't even played the first one. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh shit!
Yo!
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Yo! We got Bam Bam pulling up at just the right timing. And how you feeling, man?
Man, what up, man? You already know what it is, man.
Yeah,
hey,
but
listen, I'm here to talk about these games. I'm here to talk to the Joker. Hey, man, look, I'm ready, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, fam. How you been, fam?
You know, just shitting on motherfuckers on Twitter. You know how it goes.
I see it. I see it.
So yo, Bam Bam, we're sorry, yeah, yo, we're on the topic with Jedi Survivor, and so what are your thoughts on the game so far?
Oh, Jedi Survivor, man. Jedi Survivor is dope. It's good. I wish the performance was where it needs to be, but I mean, we in 2023, man. We in the generation of performance issues. So, I mean, 4K 30 is cool. I wish I had an option for 1440p. Straight up 60. But it is what it is with that. But just to get off the performance, get off the negatives. Positives, man. Probably about 3 or 4 hours in on Jedi Survivors. The map is better. It's still trash, but the map is better. You know what I mean? So if you play Jedi Fallen Order, hey, the map is better. They got these new stances in the game, so it's kind of like like whenever you play like Dark Souls games and you get in like you had like the weapon arts or whatever. So you got these stances, so you can either do left on the D-pad, to like put one stance, or you can do right on the D-pad to get another stance. And I just got this stance for like Kyle Kestis has this like blaster in like one hand, and like he has a lightsaber inside that. That shit is fire. I'm out here chopping motherfuckers up, bro.
Is there like pew pew motherfucker?
Thanks. I'm out here, kicking ass and taking cheeks. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this, right? Because Digital Foundry, they did say that this is one of their one of the good looking games right now. And so if you compare this to like Hogwarts Legacy or like Horizon Forbidden West, how would you say like the fidelity holds up to those games?
Oh, this ain't touching Horizon, dog.
Yeah,
listen.
They ain't touching it.
Okay, all right.
Everybody knows how I feel about Horizon. I think Horizon is a boring ass game, but that motherfucker looks beautiful, man. Even though you heard about playing with like Blake Griffin, listen, Blake Griffin is pretty as hell in Horizon.
God, Forbidden West is gorgeous. That game is so. I circled back to play Forbidden West, and it's a pretty thing.
It's insane, man. And I got the DLC downloaded. I just didn't have time to jump on it, man. But
I haven't gotten quite there yet, so let me know.
So when it comes to Jedi Survivor, is it like close to that level, or is it like so far off?
Man, listen.
Okay.
Horizon is like, so listen, I'm gonna do it by like level 5. Horizon is at like level 5. That's still like the best next gen game that has released yet, right? So that's like level 5. I would say Jedi Survivor is like a level 3 or like a level 2.5 compared to Horizon. Like the game looks good, but it's just I don't know what the hell Guerrilla Games did, bro, but Horizon looks
Kojima put his whole pussy in that shit, boy.
Excuse me?
Whoa! Whoa!
He said it. He said it.
He had that thing sitting in that thing. Yes, sir.
He said, Kojima said, pineapple for the poom poom? Cool.
Facts.
Yeah, man. The Decima engine is not a slouch now.
Facts. Like, Death Stranding was a boring ass game. Empty as hell, but them rocks and them waterfalls in that joint, ooh wee.
It looked real. Let me tell you.
Facts.
Yeah, that's definitely a good looker. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Listen, man, working for UPS never looked so good, dog. I promise you.
You know
I
what
can
else
confirm it's not that great.
You know what a game that looks really like shockingly good? Dead Island 2 looks really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's some parts of Dead Island 2 that look photorealistic and immaculate.
Did you get to Venice Beach yet, Deli?
No.
So listen, look, I want you to remember me saying this. When you get to Venice Beach, whenever you get to like that little cutscene or whatever, and they make you get to Venice and like you see like the name pop up, watch. That shit looks crazy good, man. Like Dead Island 2 is up there too as well, but it's a first person game, so
Yeah, it is a first person game, so it's kind of hard to compare the two.
yeah.
All right, yo. So I appreciate your thoughts on Jedi Survivor, and so yeah, I do have a question actually. Some critics were complaining that the overall difficulty wasn't that great as compared to the first game. So how did you feel about the overall like challenging aspect of the game?
What do you mean? You mean like some people were saying that Jedi Fallen Order was just harder than Survivor?
Yeah. I think that's what they're coming across with. Yeah.
I do agree with it, but I feel like going into Fallen Order is different because he was playing with Cal at a point in his Jedi career and his Padawan early days. So it's like I feel like that game had to be harder, whereas now you're playing with Cal Kestis, who spoiler alert. Listen, if you didn't play Jedi Fallen Order about 5 or 6 years ago, spoiler alert.
I haven't played it yet.
Yo, that final boss was awesome. That final segment of Jedi Fallen Order was amazing.
Okay, so listen, so I'm gonna say this without spoiling it, but you playing with a Cal Kestis.
You can spoil it. I ain't
gonna spoil it for you because I think you might want to play it. But
Yeah.
so you playing with Cal Kestis at this point in his Jedi career now. He right off the cusp of fighting that final boss, and it's like this isn't the same Cal Kestis. So him fighting the Empire, or him fighting battle droids, or him fighting random enemies out and about, it's not gonna be the same because Cal has new tools under his belt. He's smarter, he's wiser, he's faster, he's stronger.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I agree, and then I don't agree because I mean, if you're looking at it from that point, I feel like it's about where it should be because there's still enemies in within Survivor's world that like you'll run up on like these big, huge Triceratop looking monsters, and them shits will hit you 2 or 3 times, and Kyle is dead.
True.
That's my take on that.
Yeah. All right. So like the same Dark Souls element is still there, kind of like with the whole difficulty.
I never believed it had a Dark Souls difficulty to it. The only thing that it has in common with Dark Souls is like the campfires or whatever the hell they call it, and like
the meditation point.
It felt more like a Metroidvania than it did.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the only thing that people you could really compare it with, in this community, bro. You know how people run wild and everything is just Souls like. Come on, man. Like I never looked at this game as being Souls like, except for again those meditation spots and how you could upgrade and shit like that. But other than that, I mean, that's my take, bro. Like it or love it. You know what I'm saying?
All right, yeah. So yeah, definitely appreciate your input on that. And actually, let's move on to the next topic, which is the state of AAA gaming. And it seems like, what happened?
It fucking sucks. Okay, it fucking sucks.
And it's like, what happened to the QA and the game testers, fam? Like, we have like companies dishing out products, and like I have a question for you guys. Like, does release dates really matter? Like we have some companies who are confident that the game isn't good. Like we had Last of Us delaying the game, and like things like that. Like, have we not learned from CD Projekt Red, like the whole CD Projekt Red fiasco that happened, and it ended up being such a whole trivial thing, and then Sony had to pull out the game from the storefront. So this is like it definitely is suspect, man, with like some of these companies releasing games. We had Gotham Knights releasing day one with issues, and then Redfall. I'm not sure what happened to the development of that, but like it's definitely looking sketchy right now. So how do you guys feel about the state of AAA gaming, and why are these developers messing up at in 2023, man? So let me guys let me hear your thoughts on that.
Who's gonna start off?
So
I have
listen,
zero problem with AAA gaming currently. So go ahead.
I
Get
hate
your list,
AAA
right?
gaming currently.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Deli. I think we should let Mr. Game Developer go last. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to take everybody's talking points because that's what happens every time we get to talk about some game. Deli.
Nah,
So
go ahead, get your bars off, bro.
So listen, right? I'm gonna touch on this real quick. I'm not gonna talk too much, but this Krow, you just said something, right? You said have these developers not learned from the Cyberpunk 2077 thing, and I would argue. I know what you was trying to say, but I want to flip that. I want to play devil's advocate, right? I think, yes, they did learn, and they realized that the hardcore gamers or the motherfuckers on Twitter do not matter. Because how much did Cyberpunk 2077 sell? Even with all those bugs and even with all, you know what I'm saying? That shit still sold millions. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotham Knights, even though it launched at only 30 FPS and people online was crying, that shit still sold well.
Yeah,
So,
I bought it day one.
Exactly.
Yeah, I bought it day one.
But I think right. I think these developers do realize and they do see the problem. But it's just like with Nintendo. I want to use Nintendo. You can look at how they launched their game. Look at Pokemon. Look at the state of Pokemon when that launched. and look at what we at today. There is still no performance patch, but these niggas are putting out DLC. Bro, they do not care because they know if they have a product that people want, people will go out and buy it. That's all I got to say, man.
Oh man, I'm done, bro. Like to be honest, yeah. Like if we take it in, like Nintendo's many like many of their studios are AA studios. Like let's be real, like the fact that
I just use Nintendo as an example of like developers knowing.
But
that
Nintendo's
they have a great
also
product.
like playing heel on that though. Nintendo also has a lot of games where at least they got the core game fucking done.
Oh yeah, facts.
Like-
Facts. But I'm talking about from like a performance aspect. I only use Nintendo because again, most developers know. Okay, we got some Knights. That's Batman. Batman shit gonna sell. Disney knew, or like EA knows. Okay, this is Star Wars. Star Wars is huge.
Star Wars will sell regardless.
That shit is exactly. That shit is selling regardless. That was the only point that I was making. I don't
They're
want
selling
y'all
off the IP and not actual the game itself.
Yeah.
So and like that's why I brought up Nintendo with Pokemon specifically. I don't want y'all to harp on Nintendo's developers because trust me, I know it. Melodic know it. Joker know it. Deli know it. We all know. Them niggas ain't out here striking at the same time as PlayStation and Xbox for the development of their game. But y'all got it. Go ahead.
Game Freak
but when it comes to Nintendo, they still have their top dogs like with Monolith Soft with Xenoblade, and it's good to see Atlas on Nintendo now with Shin Megami Tensei and stuff like that. So yeah, they still have their big hitters like Fire Emblem is another one, stuff like that. So let's move on to the Melodic Punk. And so what are your thoughts on the state of AAA gaming right now?
I understand that this industry has gone a lot more expensive. I don't work in the industry, but just like everything, like as technology progresses, things are going to get much more expensive. Budgets are going to balloon, everything like that. My biggest problem is just, and maybe it's just because the 6th generation, GameCube, PS2, Xbox, Dreamcast, I have a lot of nostalgia for. Back in those days, that was like the last generation where your game had to be done. There was no patches, there was no fixing bugs. Your game had to be done. And then during the 360 area, we kind of seen the introduction of patches and some paid DLC and all that stuff. And I think with nowadays and like with the PS4, Xbox One generation, I'm just very jaded. Like I'm tired of games coming out, and Microsoft does this a lot. They'll release a game and they'll be like, okay, well, we're gonna patch the rest of this content later, we're going to patch performance modes later, we're gonna do this thing later. I'm like, no, games are $70 now. Get your fucking game done. $70 games and we can't have a finished fucking product.
Then don't
Now,
buy
I
it.
know there's a lot of
Don't
studios.
buy them.
There's a lot of studios right now that, yeah, are probably crunching. Yeah, there's a lot of issues. I don't know a lot about what's going on inside in the industry, but the problem is we, like, people outside of this gaming circle do not realize what they're doing every time they buy specific games and what it's doing, what it's enabling other developers to do. Like, the fact that Star Wars... Everybody said Star Wars Jedi Survivor is a fantastic game, and it looks like an amazing game, but it's crippled by the fact that that game got delayed, and it's still not performing as it should. Redfall literally dropped, and Microsoft said, oh yeah, by the way, we're not going to have 60 FPS at launch. We're just going to patch that shit in later. And then Halo Infinite, they're like, by the way, we're going to wait until we add this content later. They're like, no, fuck that. Fuck that. I'm tired of it. That's why I hate AAA game development nowadays, because I feel like everything is just lazy. Like, and the thing is like, I'm not even a Sony pony. I'm not really that much of a Nintendo fanboy or anything like that. But at least when I play a PlayStation game, I feel like I'm getting a complete product in terms of I can play the main story and be perfectly just fine. Zelda might have some performance issues. It might be buggy in some areas, but at least I know I'm going to get a game that's not going to require future patches and fixes to things. Like, they will take the time to get their shit done, but then you got companies like Microsoft, EA, everybody else, I'm tired of it.
There's
Like,
some
this
nuance in that though, Melodic. There's like a lot of nuance in that though, because you gotta take it into, like, you gotta really think about it, right? It's that Microsoft and EA, they're not only putting out single player games, but like only a campaign. Sony and Nintendo, they have their luxury, even though Nintendo also has multiplayer games and those games launch phenomenal. But when you talk about Sony, a company, or Sony is only doing single player games, whereas Microsoft, EA, Activision, these games are launching with single player campaigns alongside, most of the time, with multiplayer involved or baked into the game. Now, I'm not making excuses for anybody, but it's got to be a little bit more to game development than just you know what I'm saying. This is what's going on, and that's it. I think it's a lot of gray area in there. I don't know shit about it because I'm not a game dev. I don't pretend to be, but that's all I wanted to say, man.
Yeah, I'm only speaking from the consumer aspect. Like, obviously, I don't know what's going on inside the studios, but I can say as a customer, I'm getting fed up with what we're getting nowadays in terms of the AAA space. That's why I'm more invested into what AA's or even indies are doing.
Facts. Indies is pushing the goddamn industry forward. Facts. Preach on it. Speak on it.
The Plucky Squire, I'm still waiting on that game to come out.
Oh, I am too.
Thanks.
That game is top, same. It's, oh my god, it's so good.
Wait, which indie game you talking about?
The Plucky Squire.
Plucky Squire.
Oh, I haven't heard of
showed
that.
it last
Actually.
year.
Devolver Digital, they're pushing the bar when it comes to the games.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I'm again. I used to play quite a lot of games. Now I have to do real life shit too, and I'm trying to find time to play games as much as possible. So I'm kind of like in a middle ground. So I don't give a shit about, AAA gaming being bad or not. But what I am bothered about is the fact that I feel like the talent that they're pulling into these companies to develop this game is where it lacklusters. Right, that's where the downfall of AAA gaming, as you can say, is falling down. But other than that, like, for me, I bought the game. I bought Star Wars Jedi Survival. I haven't even played it yet because I didn't have the time to play it. But I'm hoping when I do hop on it next week, when I've come back from my trip, I should be able to enjoy it because there'll be a patch drop. So I'm gonna see how it goes. If it's unplayable, then yeah, I'm gonna be roasting the fuck out of it. But if it is playable and I'm gonna be able to go through the whole story mode and not have any kind of an issue, because I've been seeing Windu play Star Wars Jedi Survival recently on YouTube. He's been streaming quite a bit, and he's playing on a 1080 Ti, right?
Yeah.
Motherfucker's got a dinosaur fucking prehistoric age fucking graphics card, and he doesn't seem to have any kind of issues whatsoever while he's playing it. And the fucker is streaming it on 4K on YouTube. Yeah, he's got a, so he's doing a lot of shit.
Well,
And I'm
to
seeing.
be fair, he has.
He has a streaming. Yeah, he has a streaming PC set up.
I
But
don't wanna
he's
throw the streaming thing into it, but just the actual gameplay.
Yeah, but then afterwards, like, he's playing on the highest setting on a 1080 Ti, right? And he's not had any kind of an issue whatsoever. And the only time he's got frame drops is when he's in the loading side of things, and he can just see the frame drop for a quick second or so, which is like probably like 3 or 4 frame drops. But then afterwards, that's it. He carries on playing the game like normal. And
Oh damn.
I'm like, yo, how is your game holding up so well on your freaking prehistoric age? And people on a 4090 and a 3080 or 20 series to 40 series are struggling on it.
On
And he's
top
there
of
like,
that-
I don't know, bro.
And on top of that, we have consoles where both manufacturers like, oh yeah, we're gonna push 4K, we're gonna push up to 120 FPS, yet we're getting nowhere near that. At least in terms of some games like that. And don't even get me started about multiplayer. Like everything wants to be battle royale, everything wants to be games as a service. We'll be here for a long time if we dive down that rabbit hole.
But yeah, so
Right,
like
and-
for me, I would just buy. I'll buy the game if I feel like I want to buy the game, right? I don't give a fuck about what other people say. If I'm having issues, bro, I'll be vocal about it, and that's it. End of story.
Right, and the whole deal about like $70 games and things like that, like obviously like the cost of necessities and everything has gone up in price, but when you pay companies your hard-earned dollar, like you have to expect a good-looking product at the end of the day. So
it's
it
like
is.
it's like for example, if you're a tech fan and if you invest on a phone and if you feel like the other phone is better than this, so you should have done your, like, I look at it as like you should have done your research before you actually decided to buy your product, right? And if you're going to be salty about it after the fact, that's your own downfall because you spent your own hard-earned money on it. No one asked you to do so. You know what I mean? So that's what I see it in my perspective.
Yeah. Right, but like yeah, as Melodic said, I mean, like the premise of these next gen consoles is to, run these open world games at 60 FPS. Hopefully the Unreal Engine 5 games can hopefully run decently on, being able to match the graphical fidelity and still be able to run at 60 FPS. It'll be interesting to see if they can, run at 1440p at least at 60 FPS for these open world games.
I mean,
Yep.
I look at it this point of view. Now, if technology was not going so fast, so quick, right? And then afterwards, if 4K was not actually introduced to the whole mass audience, would you be sitting there and moaning about the game having 4K at 60 FPS? No, because technology was introduced slowly. So at the end of the day, we are still in early stages of game development for like a next generation kind of an aspect, right? So you can't be sitting there and feeling salty that this game does not have 4K 60 FPS because they're still trying to do the research, still trying to fix a lot of shit. Eventually, it's going to come to that stage in a certain aspect of time where that will be flawless, and then afterwards new introduction to 8K at 60 FPS. Bitches are going to be moaning about that on Twitter left, right, and center. And do you really give a shit? Like, do you really think that the game developers are looking at Twitter and be like, yo, these motherfuckers are bitching about it? No, because they know that fucking game's going to sell regardless of it. And that's what it is. So that's my point of view on it, really.
You know how people like in this community like to hate on the Switch all the time just because of the low performance and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Wait until the next Nintendo console comes out. It's gonna go full circle. They're gonna bitch about power again because that's all people care about is power and graphics, which yes, I want my games to run at 60 FPS, but if your game's not fun, I don't really care what your game looks like, and I don't really care how your game runs. If the game is not fun, I don't care.
Right, and actually, funny that you brought up the Switch. Just like, I did read, I did watch a few videos of like a few freelancers who did like the Switch ports and everything. Apparently, like the Warframe port, I'm not sure who it was done by, but like the Warframe port was really well done. And like there's a video on it and how they were able to squeeze Warframe onto the Switch and still able to run at a steady 30 FPS. So like on the topic of the QA and game testers, I feel like I'm not sure why like EA scrutinized the testing department before releasing the game. And we also have Redfall, which is a huge disaster. Like I'm not sure what happened there with the whole management and everything.
Bruh.
So
I'm just
Deli,
waiting
so
for
Deli
Deli.
did play a bit of Redfall, and what were your thoughts on Redfall that you played?
It's pretty lackluster. It's pretty underwhelming. It's probably the best word to describe it. It's just underwhelming. There's glints and glimmers of fun and excitement and creativity, but they come so far and few in between in the lifeless open world that it's really kind of hard to recommend. Like, somebody, while you guys were talking, somebody asked me on Twitter and said, are you enjoying it? And I said, it's not too bad. It's definitely not the worst game I've played this year, or it's not definitely the worst game I've ever played. It's just really underwhelming. Like, it's just mid. I think if we could just describe it in one word, it's just mid, and that's fine. Like, I like mid games. We all play mid games. It's a-okay, but
What's the worst game you played this year? Just before you continue.
the worst game I played this year, or the worst?
The worst game you played this year.
The worst game I played this year. Oh, Callisto Protocol. The worst game I played this year.
You put Callisto Protocol
Underneath Redfall?
Yeah, 100%. I think Callisto Protocol has a host of issues. I dislike that game wholeheartedly with my whole being.
Damn.
Yeah, it's tight, it's cramped, it's claustrophobic for no reason. It's the same thing. I would say the same thing about it as I said about Redfall. It's a bygone era. This Redfall is a time capsule of like 2011. If this came out adjacent Left 4 Dead, people would be eating it. So good. They'd be like, yeah, this is the best game ever. It's just not hitting in 2023. I'm sorry. Like, if it came out 5 years prior, when we were really hoping for a co-op experience, then yes, this game would be perfectly fine. There'd be nothing wrong with it. People would be a-okay with it, right? Or if it came out on the Xbox One, people would be like, this is the greatest game ever. This is a fun party game. But unfortunately, because we've had so little co-op games, far and few in between the time that we've had the last good one, right? Whatever the last good one was, we've become highly critical of the ones that are, currently released. There's no matchmaking, right? So if you don't have friends, you're playing it by yourself. I'm sorry. And I played it by myself for a couple hours today. It's hard playing it by yourself.
Hey, God bless your soul, man.
It is, and I'm gonna beat the game too. Like, I have no problem. Like I said, I have no problem playing mid games. Like, I'm a-okay with that. I actually probably enjoy it more than playing critically acclaimed games.
I'm right there with you, man.
Just because I can play more of them, and it's okay. And you can't complain that Arcane Austin didn't branch out and do different things. It's just, the game needed another year. It's probably, the game needed another year. I don't know what happened, in the time they got acquired, or what happened last year when they delayed it or chose to delay it. But I think a lot of things got scrapped because what we're playing, it feels like, it feels like a
skeleton.
Build.
It's bare bones.
Yeah, it's really bare bones. The game is just really bare. Like, everything about it is just unrefined and undefined. It's just really, like, the looting system just, like, it's just there.
It's piss poor, to be honest.
Yeah, there's nothing really wrong with it. Like, it works, right? But that's really just it. It works. Like,
It's diet Left 4 Dead.
yeah, it doesn't do anything exciting. Like, you loot so that it automatically compiles your inventory and gives you money. So you loot for money, which is important because the game doesn't give you any fucking ammo. So all you do is spend money at the safe houses to buy ammo. It's the most frustrating thing on planet Earth because I don't know if you guys know of this little indie game that came out years ago called Left 4 Dead, but that game was fucking awesome. Yep. All right. And
amazing.
It revolutionized the industry. It made safe houses like an actual thing. Drop in, drop out co-op. It was amazing. This game doesn't have any of that. So it's just really, it feels like a, what it feels like? It feels like a horizontal slice, like you're pitching something to a higher up. That's what it feels like. It's not quite done yet, but a bunch of executives at Xbox need to know how the game actually feels and plays. And whether or not they should give the studio more money. It feels, like I said, it's lackluster, it's underwhelming, unrefined. It's just really, really middling. And I'm having a hard time recommending it to people. Like, if somebody asks me, oh, should I buy it? Somebody just asked me like 20 minutes ago, hey, should I buy it on Twitter? And I was like, I'm having a hard time recommending it. Like, no, I don't think you should.
Not right now, anyways. Feel like this game
not
is
right
gonna
now.
be good in a
But
couple
it's in Game Pass.
feel like it's gonna be good in a
Fine, check it
couple
out on
months.
Game Pass. Like,
I
you know,
wouldn't
you
even
weren't gonna
say
buy it
that-
anyways.
I wouldn't even say even waste your $15 fucking subscription on it, bro. Go
Yeah.
back a few months later because just like Deli said, there's some fun to be had in there. But that's the thing that people got to understand, right? Just because something is fun with your friends, anything can be fun with your friends. I'm willing to. If Joe could fly his ass over across the pond over here, me and Joker can walk down my street, find a ball of shit, kick that ball of shit down the street. And guess what? Me and Joker joke and clown all the time. Guess what? That shit's gonna be fun. Anything fun with friends, and people need to stop. People need to stop brushing all the problems with Redfall underneath the rug because unlike most niggas that's on that app capping for that game, I got 8 hours into it. I got out of the first town. I beat the first main boss of that game. I tried to get that game a fair shake, but Deli kept saying that the only word he can use to describe that game is underwhelming or that's the best. The best word for me to describe this game is tragic as fuck. because when you really think about it, right? They delayed the game already a year. The game was delayed a year. Imagine what we were gonna get last year before this game was delayed. And then also, right? I can't even compare this to Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or any of those horde type games because this isn't what that game is. This isn't what that game is trying to be. It's trying to be the next Destiny. It's trying to be the next Borderlands. It's trying to get into that Outriders, even though Outriders was also received poorly. Those games still live and breathe and succeed somewhat inside their own little pocket of gaming. Outriders came out with multiple DLCs, right? I got you.
I'll even tell you, if you want to even play, just go play Warframe. You'll have ton of fucking fun playing that fucking game. Then you're gonna have fun playing this.
But it's like people online, right? These fanboys, right? They was getting so mad and out of pocket, just getting angry at me, talking about, oh, you want to do this for clicks and likes and for clout, thinking that niggas is trying to get paid from this shit and putting out their opinion about a shitty game that I played. This another shit game to add onto the list of games that I played. I play anything and everything, right? And it's like I wanted to enjoy this game. I didn't play the game for 8 hours just so I can be like, just run to Twitter and start clicking and clacking on my motherfucking keyboard and be like, oh man, this game was trash. That's not nigga. I wanted to enjoy the game, but the game has problems, and I can't overlook just because I can have a bit of fun with with a couple people, and we cope and joke and we make jokes about how ugly characters are. Like there's a chick inside the fire station. This chick's name is like Ava. I thought it was Evan. That nigga looked like Tim Carrey. So, but I mean, people got to stop acting like just because something is fun that transcends all the issues that is within that game. I can't recommend that game to nobody. I wouldn't recommend that game to fucking Stevie Wonder, nigga. A nigga who can't see. Bro, do not play this game right now. In a few months, after some patches, I think it's a good game right there somewhere.
Yeah, it's got potential. Like there's the vampire hideouts, amazing, right? They're awesome. Like a new mechanic where the vampire, you raid the vampire hideout.
Oh yeah,
all this cool stuff. It closes in 30 seconds, and you gotta loot as much as you can. It's so cool. Like it's like, oh wow, there's so much to this game. Not so much, but there's brief moments of this game that you can feel like they really put a lot of love, care, creativity into it. It's just that the other 90% of the game, you're running around doing absolutely nothing. It's extremely repetitive as well too. All the safe houses have you doing the exact same thing, right? All the bosses have you doing the exact same thing.
Real quick,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Nigga, did you feel like Mr. Rogers walking through that motherfucking neighborhood? Bro, that shit was empty. I felt like I was in a beautiful neighborhood. I'm like, oh,
actually, I think I don't know about you, but yeah, I died a bunch of times just because the game doesn't have a tactile feel when you take damage. So me and Slow-Mo Backslap were playing, and we were just taking damage, and I was like, yo, am I dying right now? And I'd look down, and I would fall over and die, and I'm like, I can't, you cannot register when you're taking damage in the game. And it's really jarring, because you would just, like, I was standing on fire, and my character was just like, there's no screen shake or anything.
Yeah, like there's no type of feedback.
I just fall over and die, and I was like, what? And next thing you know, I found out I was standing on top of fire. So other than just randomly getting shot through walls by enemies, because apparently enemies can shoot through walls but you can't,
What kind
You
of
know,
a fucked up shit is that?
it's
That sounds like
pretty-
some Dark Souls shit, to be honest.
It's yeah, it's extremely barren. Like, I mean, I uploaded. I don't know if you saw the video, Bam. I uploaded it day
I saw it.
one.
Yeah.
And I was walking around for like it was about 7 minutes of in-game time, but I sped it up by 4 times speed, so it went down to like 2 minutes. I walked around for 2 whole minutes and didn't see a single enemy.
I told you, bro. I felt like Mr. Rod just walking around there, Deli. And I was playing on the hardest difficulty, bro. I'm on the hardest difficulty playing with people. We like, what the hell is the enemies at? What the hell is the NPCs
Beautiful
at?
day in the neighborhood.
That's exactly how I felt, Melodic. I was like, this shit is crazy. And bro, I'm telling you, I don't know why these people cap so hard, but it's like you cannot tell me that you are okay with the state that this game released. And I don't give a fuck how much fun you had, bro. You got to be objective at this point.
And that's the biggest.
No, go ahead, Melodic. Go ahead, you got it, bro.
That's the biggest problem that I have with AAA gaming, especially when it comes to games like this that are releasing in Game Pass, is that you got people that are making up any sort of excuse. Like, if people truly like the game, that's perfectly fine. But a lot of people are ignoring the bigger picture that this game has fundamental flaws, and the fact that this game had a delay just like every other game that came out, and the game is just, it's performing the way it is. Like, it's like I said, this year it's been really hard to get into like the big AAA games just because of like what's been coming out has not been impressive, and the fact that Redfall came out the way it is.
Dead Space was impressive.
I haven't played Dead Space Remake. That's on my to-do list though.
Okay.
Like that and Resident Evil 4. That's on my to-do
never mind
list.
that.
Yeah, I mean, aside from Dead Space Remake, and a lot of people were vibing with Hogwarts Legacy. So,
Hogwarts
that
Legacy was good for a little bit. It's a game that I need to get back to, so I am gonna take fraud on that one. Like, it's a great game, but it is a game where it's just like I need some time with this game, and it's time that I'm not willing to give. Because that's the thing with something like Redfall. Like, yeah, it's on Game Pass. You may not have to pay a full $70 for it, but are you willing to spend your time that you have when it comes to games like that? Because like Hi-Fi Rush stealth drop randomly, and I had more fun with the time I had with Hi-Fi Rush more than anything. That's another game I need to get back into. But Redfall's coming out, and it's just, I don't know what it is. Like, the thing is people want to make excuses because the game's in Game Pass, but as Persona and Jay Barry say, respect my time.
Yeah, I mean, there are no excuses, you know, and I say in my tweets all the time, just because I'm okay with things doesn't mean that means other people are okay with things, right? Like, me and Bam can play this game, right? Like, me and Bam can play it tonight at 9 o'clock, right? Whatever. My game runs at 30 FPS. My game runs at 40 FPS. You know, it shouldn't run that low on my machine. And I'm chilling, bro. I'm playing on medium settings. I can even play on low settings. It does not bother me. And I'm chilling. People are clipping through walls. You know, my guns don't spawn. Like, when I join people's teams or join people's games, my guns don't spawn.
Facts. I had that same bug.
I have no problem with that stuff. I'm like, haha, whatever, visual bug. But you take that to somebody else, and they're like, nah, this game sucks. So, but it just because it doesn't bother me doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So yeah, there's performance issues that riddled the game. There's stuttering issues that riddled the game. I think there's a memory leak, and there's a CPU bound issue with the game.
Yeah.
The game is, you know, again, it's bare bones. It's got basically nothing going for it right now. It's incredibly boring and dull. It's kind of drab too. Actually, the town of Redfall is not bad. I will say that though, Bam. The town of Redfall is pretty neat.
Oh yeah, like the atmosphere.
Yeah, the
and everything
atmosphere
about the town is cool, and like the
and
music,
sound-
the soundtrack is cool too.
Oh, the soundtrack is great, and the sound design is fantastic. Like I don't know about you, but that what's it called? The Night Stalker or whatever, that first underboss that you had to fight. When you walk into the house and you're trying to find him and you don't know where he's at, and he's like talking, or you hear him in the walls and stuff, and you're kind of like walking through the house, it's like you know, you can tell. It's like there are moments in this game that this would be such a great horror like 4-player co-op experience. Like, this is, you're clearing rooms, like you're trying to make sure that, like, you know, everybody's flashlights are off. Like, it's such like a cool experience. And then you burn the boss in 20 seconds, and you're like,
Yep.
this is it.
Can I
And
ask you a
then-
question before Krow tell us to shut the fuck up?
Yeah,
Alright, chill. Hold on.
Do you think that the development and the expectation or like how the pressure affecting the Bethesda's main team. Do you think that maybe this that maybe the way Redfall released and the status in is because of the pressure that Bethesda Games is under for the release of Starfield? Because right now it's like for Xbox, Starfield that's the end all be all for everybody. Everybody's talking like.
I don't think Starfield, but I think just the pressure in general of
Right.
BGS, like after getting acquired. I say this a lot, I've said this a lot since I've had hands on with the game. I think something definitely went wrong last year when it got announced that it was delayed, because none of this game looks like any of the release footage. And I'm gonna be real with you, I think they scrapped a lot.
Microtransactions, right?
I think no, not microtransactions.
You don't think it was microtransactions was baked into it? Because I don't know if you remember or not. There was a bunch of rumors coming out saying that game had a bunch of microtransaction shit baked into it.
I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna give too much, credence to the rumors. I just feel like I feel like they scrapped what they had and had to start over.
I feel like it's Microsoft's management also.
I feel like
they're notorious.
Because I speak to, obviously you guys see me on Twitter. I'm sure you guys see my interactions. I actually talked to the studio head, Harvey Smith, actually a couple days ago on Twitter, and a couple of the senior folk over at Arcane Austin, the team that made this game, and you guys can see those interactions up on Twitter. It's everybody is celebrating the launch, but you can feel deep down inside there's definitely something going on. From higher up, right? Because the devs are talented. They're great. The game had the sound design, it's great. The characters are cool. How many black characters do you get with natural hair flowing like that? How many?
3 or 4.
Exactly. How many brown people are actually in video games that don't have a fucking stereotypical name? That don't crazy. They're cool. The game is cool. Like I said, there's creativity there. It's just the game itself focuses on the most boring parts of itself, which is it's a damn shame that the game doesn't do its own self justice. I think there's a lot of stuff that went wrong earlier this year and last year that forced Arcane Austin to essentially have to cut a lot of corners, and it just seems to me that there's that they had to scrap and restart, because this game is not, the launch state of the game is not, it's just not done all the way. It's not polished, it's not optimized. It's just, again, it's really bare, and it feels like they implemented all this stuff just to make sure that it's working, and not to actually implement it in any meaningful way.
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate you guys' inputs, and Redfall is definitely looking suspect. And
looking spooky.
As Melodic said, he called it the so as Melodic said, he called it the Diet Left 4 Dead, or you can call it the Diet Call of Duty. But
you gotta call it the Diet Destiny or Diet Never Looted Shooter game, man, because that's something else, right? The enemy
Dollar General Left 4 Dead.
Bro, you're not even fighting waves of enemies. It's just like what Deli said. You can walk around for 3-4 minutes and not see nobody, bro. That shit's crazy.
I mean, I did walk into a stronghold earlier and get swarmed, and I think it's odd that you can kill, at least when I'm playing solo, and I think the same way when you're playing in a party as well too. If you die, whatever enemies you've killed, they stay dead, so there's no respawning. So if you've let's say you killed 9 enemies out of the 10 enemies in the stronghold, if you die on the 10th enemy and you walk back to that stronghold, there will only be 1 enemy left. So you could just retry the same stronghold multiple times, and it really doesn't feel difficult. The only difficult part about it is that, again, I was playing solo and I got swarmed in a tiny ass room with 3 or 4 vampires. And it wasn't the fact that the game was hard. The game was just beating my ass because I had nowhere to move and there was no ammo. So yeah, it's not a particularly hard video game. It's just, I really don't know. I'm not disappointed because I didn't have high expectations anyways. It's just I don't know. This is boring.
Yeah, I mean, I did read a few reviews saying it was very uninspired. you know, if only they had someone from id Software or like someone who's experienced with FPS games to help them out with their overall game concept. So yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. Let's actually move on to our final topic, which is the Microsoft topic.
Oh, sweet.
Before we actually get into this,
I'm
actually
actually gonna leave on this topic, just because I hate this topic so much. But I want to, before I leave, I want to bid everybody good night.
I was gonna leave. How the hell you gonna leave without?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, guys. It was always fun. Joker, Krow, Bam,
Yo, Deli,
obviously Punk
peace.
as well too.
Alright, bro.
If you guys see me on Xbox later tonight, send me an invite. Let's play some Redfall.
Alright, bro.
All right, later, y'all.
Much love, peace. Peace.
you're easy, Deli. Appreciate you as always. So yeah, before we go into this Microsoft topic, let's actually start with so if you look back onto the Xbox One generation, what were your good standout titles for that generation? Because like for me personally, I feel like outside of Ori and Forza, there wasn't really too much of a highlights for that generation.
You dead ass?
Like I mean, like there were Quantum Break and like a few other games as well.
Quantum Break was trash, but I'm talking about for like, you know, whenever like, so that's the problem with the Xbox One gen, and even if you look at the Series X gen, it's looking like a mirror right now. But Xbox is trying to work on getting some games out. When the Xbox One first launched, you had Dead Rising 3. That game was fucking fire. Gears of War Ultimate Edition came out. That game was fire.
Okay.
Gears of War 4 came out. You know, regardless of how you feel about the campaign, that multiplayer was fire. People hated Halo 5, but you know, Halo 5 was a mixed bag. That
Halo
game
5
was-
had good multiplayer. The campaign sucked in that game though.
Yeah. But that's usually like the problem with 343. It's either they either nail them, it's like they either nail the campaign and mess up the multiplayer, or else they nail the multiplayer and they mess up the campaign. So Halo 5 was a mixed bag. That game was okay. And then you also had Rise Son of Rome. I almost forgot about that game. That was a launch title that got shitted on, but that game was fucking fire. That game was heat. I played that game day one, beat it. Fire.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, the Xbox One gen, it started out strong. It had its ups and downs. Some people like Sunset Overdrive. Some people don't. I personally don't like that game. I think that game was trash. But yeah, man. I mean, I just named out 5 or 6 games, and those games are arguably better than some of these Series X games that's coming out for Xbox.
I will definitely say Ori and the Blind Forest is definitely a bright spot for the Xbox One generation. Sunset Overdrive, I love it. It's a game that I definitely need to go back in my backlog and play because I love that game. Just the art style, the more of the punk rock design of it, the fact that you can grind on rails while you're shooting guns is fantastic. Halo Master Chief Collection, I love, but the catch being I liked it after the entire game was patched. Because I got Master Chief Collection as soon as it came out when I first bought the Xbox One, and it was broken to all hell. But that's one of the main games on Steam that I'll always go back and play multiplayer on. Haven't done that recently, of course. Trying to think what else from the Xbox One generation. I mean, you got Cuphead, but it's not necessarily an Xbox title.
Oh,
it didn't
sure.
launch on
about
Xbox,
that.
though.
I forgot about that one.
It was Xbox 4-bit. It was Xbox 4-bit.
And so far with the Series X, the only one I can think of was Halo Infinite, but Halo Infinite came out uncompleted. Like, the multiplayer is good. I even like the campaign for it, but you saw that game fall off really fast. Like, we had a solid month where we were all playing Halo Infinite, and then we all jumped ship because there was no content. I don't even think the Xbox One generation was all that great, but I can definitely say before the Game Pass effect, games were a lot more interesting before Game Pass came into existence. And I'm not hating on Game Pass. I like Game Pass, but
I think Xbox One before 2015, so from 2013 to 2015, because that's when they had all those games, and then that's when you started seeing the Game Pass games, or quote unquote the Game Pass effect started coming into play. Because that's when you got to Sea of Thieves. That's when you started getting all those other games that was coming out. Like Quantum Break came out 2017. That game was a bust, and that's really when you started seeing the dip from the Xbox first party. Because the last game that came out on the Xbox One generation was Gears of War 5. I think Gears of War 5 came out 2018, 2019 or something.
Yeah.
And that was like the last game that came out on the Xbox One. I mean, I think 2013 to 2015 was really strong for Xbox One. Just like I said, shit started to die out. But then again, you also got to think about what was going on. They was talking about shutting Xbox down at that point as well. And that's why Game Pass is quote unquote Phil Spencer's baby, because he used that to save Xbox. At least that's what all the fanboys say. I don't know. I don't live in Phil Spencer's back pocket. So.
For me, I didn't even. To be honest with you, I was on PlayStation 4 most of the time. I never really had an Xbox One, so that's me out of the game.
I was surviving the Wii U generation. That was a tough time.
Man, yo, I had a Wii U too, man. But the only game that got played was Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers.
Yep.
Paper
Yes,
I
Mario
had
was
that too.
trash. Paper Mario launched that joint was trash. I hated the card system, but I ain't gonna get too deep into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like in terms of the launch, like yeah, obviously, Killer Instinct was pretty fire to me. But yeah,
Rare
like
replay. I forgot that.
Oh yeah, I got that. Yeah, that's facts.
yeah, aside from like
Okay.
Killer Instinct and Oi 1 and 2, I feel like there wasn't too many good highlights for Xbox, the Xbox One generation. So let's actually move on to the topic here. You know, we try to give Microsoft its flowers, but it's actually going to the negative news. So unfortunately for them, the ABK deal has been blocked by the
Right.
UK regulators.
Let me tell you something. Xbox been taking L's like a fucking combo in Street Fighter, fam.
This has been the worst 2 weeks for Xbox
Yo.
in their entire existence, probably, besides the 360
been-
Red Ring.
Bro, it's been bad news after bad news after bad news, bro.
Mhm.
Every time we talk about Xbox, it's been nothing but bad news.
Yeah,
It's just crazy, man. But go ahead, Krow. My bad, bro.
yeah, go on.
Yeah, so apparently, like this whole cloud gaming thing is a huge deal for them. Like not sure what an analyst estimates the whole cloud gaming market is gonna be like, but like I'm not sure why the cloud gaming aspect is a huge deal. So in this article from Forbes, it says that the evidence showed that Microsoft, which is already a strong player in the field, would find it commercially beneficial to make Activision's games exclusive to its own cloud gaming service and further strengthen its position. And like if you take it in, is the cloud gaming market going to be a big deal? Like I know that we have Nvidia, you know, GeForce, you know, in their Stadia actually died because of cloud
Rest in
gaming.
peace.
So like is this
More like
market
rest in
actually
piss.
going to be of any significance in the future? Like I feel like VR gaming has much more even though that's like a niche market as well, like the VR market. I feel like the VR industry might be much bigger than the cloud gaming. Cause like let's be real, like if you're not someone who like moves around constantly, like or you have a remote office or you have a remote place that you usually go to, like I don't see cloud gaming being that big of a deal. So so why is this you know, big for the UK regulators that you think that this would affect the cloud gaming market? Like
The main reason was during the pandemic period over here in UK, right? From I believe it was was it the start of 20, yeah, just at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020 and 2021 period. You know, we were in a lockdown period for a very long time compared to most of the countries in the world, right? So during this period, cloud gaming boomed. I mean, it tripled, right? And it turned out to be almost as close to like 11 billion pound financially like profitable. You know what I mean? Just from from year 2021 to 2022, it grew from 1 billion to 11 billion in that space of time. So I'm thinking that's what they were looking at, and that's why, because they thought, okay, if cloud gaming has gone up that high in the space of this 1 year, 12-month period, so Microsoft is going to gain, you know, profit out of this and gain financially. So it's a big, you got to look at UK as a big thing. Like, it's not that they're blocking the cloud gaming industry or innovation technology or anything like that. It's just that they want to have it competitive. They want more companies to have this kind of benefit. So for example, right now, Microsoft xCloud, right? You can go on your phone and you can have your cloud gaming straight up. You can start playing it on your phone itself. Same like PlayStation, but PlayStation is only allowed to do it on its consoles, but you can do remote play. Maybe in the future, PlayStation will start having this cloud-based gaming. Nintendo, Resident Evil, I believe it was The Village, right? So it came on Nintendo, and you could stream on the Nintendo Switch itself, right? So looking into all of these kind of things, plus now Netflix, you know, they want to launch their gaming fucking shit on their subscription package. So I think that's the main reason they were looking at it, and that's the reason why they blocked it, to be honest with you. Nothing else apart from that, in my from what I've read and what I've did research over here.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially when you got like online games like Call of Duty, Overwatch, you know, Warcraft, all of this kind of things. Yeah, man, they're just going to be doing that.
Right,
and also,
yeah, so this definitely hurts Microsoft, the fact that, you know, even the FTC is also being a part of blocking the deal, and you know, a lot of people were excited for this deal, but honestly, in terms of like Microsoft's perspective, I feel like they wanted this deal mainly for King, and like the fact that
I mean, look at it this way, like Microsoft owns 60 to 70% of cloud gaming services. This includes like Azure and xCloud gaming, right? And Azure is used with many of the companies across the freaking planet. So, you know, the cloud allows UK gamers, especially over here, motherfuckers are cheap as fuck over here, I'm telling you honestly, right? They will enjoy getting it on a subscription package, and they can get to stream it and cloud and shit like that for cheap price. Motherfuckers will be on that like a fucking flies on shit, right? And they will start doing that easily. So this will allow Microsoft to take a stronger position in the cloud gaming, and that's what they don't want it to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's not about any innovation in the fucking future of the technologies and shit like that, because there are some companies out there that do provide cloud gaming. Look at friggin' what is it? The Nvidia. They had their Nvidia Play or whatever it was called, right? They had a little device that you could boot up, and then you can start playing on there too. So, looking into all of that perspective, I believe that's where they came to the conclusion, like, nah, they already own 60 and 70% of the whole entire cloud gaming space in the world, gaming services or cloud services in the world. So if we allow this to happen, they will take a stronger position, and that means other companies are going to friggin' struggle against this. And main reason why they put a stop to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, right. So as I was saying, like it's crazy how like even the FTC is blocking the deal. You know, they are trying to make a strong allegation towards that, and it seems like, even with the like the fact that the UK regulator stepped in, like it's not looking too hot for Xbox here. And like I feel like you know, the fact that Phil and Satya, they wanted to reach 1 billion gamers worldwide, and they had this whole idea of cloud gaming and trying to make it a big thing here. So let me pass it to Bam Bam, and what are your thoughts on this you know, this topic with
This whole CMA bullshit, man.
yeah.
I just wish it would have got passed, but now since people talking about they're gonna appeal and it can take up to 2 or 3 more years, man. Now we gotta, you know, waste more time talking about this shit. When, I mean, I don't know why they don't just drop the deal, just pay the penalty, forget about Activision, and put all that energy and all that effort and all that time into cultivating the studios you got, learning how to manage these 23 studios, and putting out quality games at release instead of putting out bullshit like fucking Redfall. And that's really all I got to say about it, man, because we've been talking about this CMA shit for what, almost 2 years?
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of this fucking bullshit. Seeing this on fucking Twitter post every single day. Right.
But what I will say, bro, is that I honestly was surprised when the CMA blocked it. I thought it was gonna go through with, you know, with ease. But here we are.
But it's like, bro, UK government is tougher than you think it is. Like when it comes to things, even if I want to start a business, the motherfuckers will scrutinize the fuck out of me, and I'm just a low level, right? And before they can even allow me to even have a license to start my own business, motherfuckers are so fucking tight gripped on this shit, and that's just how it goes, bro. And I see this fucking Twitter post saying that this, that, and the other. I'm like, shut the fuck up, you fucking Twitter Academy graduate, you fucking troll. You know what I mean? Go fucking get a life. Stop talking about companies. Motherfucker, improve your own life first.
Yo, with that FTC thing though, outside the CMA, the FTC thing, shout out to Kid Smooth. My man got roasted to hell on Twitter. Oh my god. I don't know if y'all saw it, but he was saying some crazy shit on the timeline this week.
Right, that's just attention seeking. So the more you pay attention to it, the more you just gonna give him the fucking big-headed ego that will start growing in his head. So, I mean, he's an individual of his own. I have nothing against him. I don't even know much what he's been saying, but I just been seeing a lot of fucking Twitter posts saying that he's done this, he's done that. Well, if you're fucking against it, stop fucking retweeting and quote tweeting it every fucking 5 minutes or every time he posts something.
Yeah, I see what Kid Smooth said. I'm not gonna speak on it too much, but
yeah, it's very political. But holy shit.
I think Kid Smooth. This is classic Kid Smooth. Kid Smooth doesn't know how to. I feel like he wasn't trying to say some shit like the way people took it. He didn't mean what he said. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not making an excuse for Kid Smooth because Kid Smooth is a grown man.
People said worse in the community in the past.
Yeah, that's facts. But I don't think he meant to say exactly what he said. I just think Kid Smooth sucks at explaining his points and really trying to articulate what he wants to say. That's what I think happened because I know I don't know how much you talked to Kid Smooth before, Melodic, but I spoke to Smooth before a few times, and I've never got that vibe that Kid Smooth hates anybody who doesn't look like him, or he hates people from like other countries and stuff like that. I just think Kid Smooth was. Go ahead.
I think he worded or articulated certain things in a wrong way.
Yeah.
And you know how people take everything.
Yeah.
Like they're fucking sensitive ass motherfuckers. Yeah, sensitive ass motherfuckers who don't know how to do it.
Yo, look, we shouldn't really downplay anyone in this community, but
Nobody's downplaying.
No one's downplaying. I love.
Okay. All right. Yeah, just wanted to
I got you.
to say
I got
that.
you, but
All
let me finish it real quick. Look, that's why I prefaced what I said. Why I said I'm not gonna make no excuses for Kid Smooth, but I don't think you know how that shit got blew up. I think it was a lot of virtue signaling going on. I think it was a lot of console war, tactics going on. People,
people being posers about it.
Exactly. A lot of motherfuckers was jumping out the window without having the context, without actually speaking to Kid Smooth. And people were trying to do a cancel train. Again, I don't agree with what they did, but I'm not gonna make no excuse for what Kid Smooth said. I feel like him being a grown man, I feel like he should have worded his shit better. But that's
and that's exactly it. Like if you go into a fucking office tomorrow and say something without realizing what you said, and then afterwards it's like, oh shit, my bad, bro, I didn't mean it that way. Motherfucker, you already said it, right? People are gonna take it negatively regardless. If it's something positive, they just don't even give a shit about it. But as soon as you say something negative, they will blow it out of proportion. And I think that's exactly what's happened over here. Like people took it way out of proportion just because he didn't articulate shit correctly.
But rewinding back to the CMA thing, I find it hilarious though that the whole concern through the CMA was more about Sony and Call of Duty and all that stuff. And Microsoft, of course, they want to be like in the top 3 when it comes to cloud services. And they got all these deals ready with Nintendo, with Nvidia, with like another, I think they just recently signed like another 10-year deal with like some UK cloud-based company. And the CMA is like, oh, well, you all are going in and out of your way for cloud. And even though cloud has not proven itself yet, it could be a problem in the future. So we're just going to block the deal. So I think Microsoft kind of shot themselves in the foot with making one of their main focuses on the cloud. I think they should have kept their focus more on like, look, we need Activision Blizzard because we need a mobile studio because we can't do shit with the mobile industry, right? And on top of having things like Blizzard for like the PC side of thing, I mean, granted, Game Pass has its own PC client, but also like make it a point to be like, we want to revive the franchises that are no longer being made. Although I think that would be a bunch of BS because Microsoft owns Rare, and what are they doing with Rare nowadays? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. So I think they kind of just shot themselves with the foot with making cloud as like one of their focus.
Yeah, I think
question.
also the. Yep, go on. Sorry. Yeah,
I got
go
a
on.
question regarding this CMA shit, right? This is for Joker and Melodic. I don't know if Krow want to dive in, right? But everybody's so bent out of shape about this deal being blocked by the CMA, right? What is stopping Xbox? The biggest, Microsoft is right there. That's Big Daddy Microsoft. What's stopping them from going and getting some money allocated and getting some resources up to, who cares about them purchasing Activision Blizzard? What's stopping them from using Activision and Blizzard the same way how Sony utilizes Square Enix? What's stopping them from going and dropping a bag at the door? Hey, listen, we want you to make this mobile game for us, Blizzard. We want you to work on this for us. We want you to give us a third-party deal. They could easily do that. I don't know
Exactly.
They want to play the good guys all the time, and unfortunately, that doesn't work.
No, you gotta understand. A good guy is an act in front, right? They probably have some shit, behind the scenes where if that comes to light, people will make it look like, oh, they're the bad guys kind of shit. But look at exactly what's happened though. In the whole entire working industry sector, what is the main OS that you use? Microsoft fucking Windows, right?
Right.
Well, and then afterwards, obviously they got all the money in the world. Everyone thinks that the whole entire community, the ecosystem relies on Microsoft. I'm sorry, you're wrong. Because over here in my workplace, right, is one of the biggest companies in the friggin' UK, right? And the company that I work for, yes, we do use Microsoft, Windows software. Sure, it's useful, it's beneficial because people are used to it. But we also use Linux. We use Linux mainly to do a lot of shit, right? Just because when I see, I've seen a couple of Twitter posts on the friggin' thing saying that, bro, Microsoft just completely pull out all their services from the UK.
Right.
You're going up against the government.
That'd be stupid. Just for
you're
Xbox,
going up.
that would be a waste.
No,
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
that'd be a waste,
you're going up against the government. Motherfuckers, do you not know that you're gonna get penalized for that kind of shit big time? You don't know half of the shit that runs there. If Microsoft decided to say like, yo, we're gonna revoke all your licenses from my company, bruh, they're gonna lose out a big major profit because my company makes about 300-400 million pound a fucking year, right? And then also the fact is that because it's disrupted the service of my work ethic, because our company is government subsidized, right? So that's going to affect the government in some way, and they're going to step in and be like, nah, we're going to fine you for doing this shit.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering, Joker. That's what I was wondering, right? It's like I seen all those people saying that dumb shit, and I'm like, do they not realize how much money Microsoft makes out of letting the UK use all these systems and having all these deals in place with all these companies within the UK? Like, why would they say? I know.
And Xbox doesn't even profit Microsoft. Like Office and Windows are Microsoft's moneymaker. Like Xbox does not make Microsoft any money.
But here's the thing. A lot of people look at it as an 8%, bro. UK is the second biggest, Microsoft service user, right, in the world. Now, 8% doesn't sound like a big number, but 8% of the fucking entire fucking world is a huge number.
That's a lot of money,
right?
Bro. But that's what I was saying.
That's a lot of money that you're wasting.
That's what I was saying. So that's what I was saying, right? Like I was thinking, I'm like, I don't never ever get into these conversations with these fanboys because they always talk about, it's like they always talk about their ass, but it's like I know $70 billion is a lot of money. I know that's a lot of money, but the money that they make from Windows and all that shit that's going on within the UK, that's more money.
That's a lot more money.
That's a lot more money, and also not only the fact, like, look at it this way. Now, if they decide Microsoft to pull, like, let's just say hypothetically, Microsoft decides to pull out of the UK in general, bro, there's gonna have a fucking knock-on chain effects across the whole of Europe. Right, and eventually this is where Apple will come in and they start looking around like, yo, this market is for me to capture. Let me holler at you quick.
Listen, I use a Mac independent of like my current like gaming setup. I will say Macs, especially with the M1 chips, are fantastic, especially for music production. But that's a whole other conversation that's not relevant.
No, but imagine this: a company goes out of the fucking whole entire country, and now you have an open market, and especially the biggest competitor for Microsoft is Apple, and we
Or
all know
Amazon.
that shit. Amazon, exactly. We all
Or
know that
Google, yeah.
shit, all right? And then also now Apple is overtaken when it comes to like technologies wise, right? And they're gonna look at it as they're like, yo, this is my time to shine, motherfucker. Let me get hold of the fucking piece of the pie. Right? Let me holler at you real quick. We're gonna give you all business fucking licenses to use our fucking software, and you give us a little bit of pie, and we will take care of you. And you really think like, Apple falls into this high quality lifestyle. Do you really think the business is not going to take use of it? Of course they are, because you know for a fact everything is encrypted. You know for a fact everything is taken care of. You know for a fact Apple is shady as fuck, and they will do whatever is necessary to protect their asses. And if that means shitting on fucking Microsoft, they will take that opportunity to do so, because there was a rivalry from the get-go. Right?
Right.
And
So yeah, aside from this acquisition failing for Microsoft, I mean, the future is kind of looking bleak for them. I mean, they do have a lot of games coming out here, but we don't have any release dates for them. Like there's no release date for Avowed or Hellblade 2. So is there a concern here in regards to the management and the fact that these companies are Hellblade 2 and all these other games like Stalker 2, they are definitely high quality games, but is there an issue with the management and dealing with these companies pushing out the products and stuff like that?
Absolutely, just mainly like using the previous games as an example. Grounded coming out in basically game preview, which Redfall should have at least been a game preview game. The state that Halo is Xbox's Mario. How are you releasing that game with the amount of trouble that it's had, and the fact that you couldn't get enough content out of that game baffles me, because that's like one of their biggest IP, and they can't even manage their own IP with 343. So the fact that Perfect Dark, Hellblade, Stalker 2, those look like fantastic games, but with what we're seeing right now with Microsoft, it looks like they're going to be crippled. I mean, thank God we got games like Hi-Fi Rush. Like, they're only like Tango Gameworks are being like their main like Japanese studio, even though it's not technically like, I mean, it's a part of Bethesda and everything, but like they got a Japanese studio making things like Hi-Fi Rush, which is fantastic, but shortly after, the guy who was like the head of that game left. So yeah, I think there's a lot to be concerned with in terms of their management.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Matt Booty ass need to go. Matt Booty needs to go, bro. He needs to go, because he's the one that's supposed to be going and like overlooking these studios and seeing what's going on. And clearly, there is a QA problem, bro. He needs to get out of there. They need to get somebody new in there, because if not, the games are gonna keep coming out. The games will keep getting delayed. A month out before release, 2 months out before release. Just get my booty ass up out of there and get somebody in there who can do the job, man. That's it.
As much as I like Phil Spencer, I think he needs to go as well. Aaron Greenberg, Matt Booty, they all need to go. They need to replace the entirety of Xbox at this point. So like somebody should be getting fired within these last 2 weeks. Like that's how bad they screwed up.
But the problem is though, Melodic, is that if you get rid of all these people, right? Who the hell are we gonna get to go up there and do it? Because who's gonna take those jobs?
Problem.
Whoever's available.
That's the problem. No, but here's the thing, like, I believe companies invest on these people for a particular reason, because they got some kind of a fucking business plan and game plan ahead, and that's the reason why they're put in this position. Now, are they doing their job more efficiently? Maybe not. They have probably teams that they send out across the whole entire shit, and you know how corporate world works. Your management will go to their management, and their management will go to their management before it reaches me. And if everyone turns around and says, yeah, this will go through, I'll look at it and be like, you know what? He's approved it. Cool. We will pass this shit on. And I think that's where the problem lies. It's the actual people that's actually doing all these kind of a quality assessment check. Are they doing their job correctly? And that's where they need to focus on.
And not only that, right? It's just like what I said earlier about like the Xbox One. Satya Nadella and them, they was gonna shut the Xbox division down. I think if Phil Spencer, Aaron Greenberg, you know, because they've been there, you know, forever. If they get rid of Phil Spencer, I think that's gonna be their last hurrah, bro. I think that's gonna be it for the Xbox division. I don't think that they're gonna keep putting money into the Xbox division and keep allocating resources, you know, to the Xbox division. Because even you said earlier, like Microsoft isn't making a profit with the Xbox division, or at least that's been the word on the street. So it's like, if Phil Spencer gets canned, I think the Xbox division is done, man. I don't think there's going to be anybody that comes after Phil Spencer.
And the thing that upsets me is I actually do like I like Phil Spencer. I think he's like the main reason why Xbox is still around, because I definitely don't want Don Matrick, because he was trying to take away everybody's gaming rights. He basically was like, screw the gamer, we're going to be an entertainment company. But at the same time, I mean, it could be more of a Matt Booty situation. I don't think it's exactly Phil Spencer, but the thing is what they're doing right now is not really any much better, and like the game quality is not going very well. I mean, yes, like things are going more subscription route, but the thing is like in the gaming space, like what was the last heavy hitter that Xbox had that's on a level of a God of War, Spider-Man, a Zelda, and Mario, whatever?
But I mean, looking back at retrospect, like when Halo Infinite launched, everybody loved Halo Infinite. But knowing what we know now about the content and the lack of content, I can't say that in confidence. But if I didn't know what I know now, I would say Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite launched with a pretty decent campaign, and it launched with a pretty good multiplayer at launch. But again,
at
that's
the same time,
biggest
Halo didn't like take the world on fire since like Halo 3 and Halo Reach. Like Halo's nowhere near as relevant as it was back in like the late 2000s, early 2010s. Like, and I think another thing that Microsoft should work on is marketing. I think they really suck when it comes to marketing.
Oh yeah,
their
marketing
games.
is out. Yeah.
Yeah, marketing is actually one of the things that that made that like you know the topic I said earlier with Honkai Star Wheel, the fact that they made 40 million in just a week, like yo, their marketing is on point, man. Like if you go on like some random YouTube videos, you're gonna see an ad for Honkai Star Wheel. So like
For who?
Honky, what are you trying to say about me?
Nah, I don't know how to say that. Yeah,
I'm just playing.
this game here. But yeah, like
a mobile game?
yeah, it's a mobile game.
Made by MiHoYo.
So MiHoYo has a lot of you know, revenue streams for advertising.
I'll tell you how Bam would recognize it. Stone started. She tweeted a post saying that, bro, I'm a mobile gamer, yo, playing Honkai. If you
She
see
playing
that,
that trash? I ain't
yeah.
seen that.
If you see
Listen,
that tweet, you know.
They need to get Microsoft needs to cut a deal, get Reggie Fils-Aime's ass out of retirement, have him go and run Xbox. I think he'd get some shit done over there.
But that's
I
but
think
that's the
he'd get
problem
some
though,
shit
Melodic. It's like the people in charge is just the management issue. The people in charge, they don't have the foresight because they let Sean Layden go to Tencent. Why didn't they put people on his ass to try to drop a bag at his front door before Tencent picked him up? You see,
And even though I don't like Jim Ryan, like Jim Ryan's still like he's still like
the business.
Yeah, he understands the business, and PlayStation's still doing really well. Not as good as like how they were during the PS4
They
generation.
just had, bro. They just had the best first quarter sales of any PlayStation console.
Yep.
Well, I'm not. No, I saw that, but I'm not mainly talking about financials. I'm talking about more of just like the first party gamers. Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, because that's like PlayStation is
money. They're good right now, especially that PS5s are more available.
Oh yeah, they're knocking the shit out the park, man. But again, that's because
And
PlayStation fires on all cylinders. You see what I'm saying? PlayStation marketing, even if
they
it's
have
not
the
a first
global
party,
appeal.
even if it's not a first party PlayStation game, like if you look at FF16, anytime you see that game, you think that's a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like Xbox, like the last case of Benedict Fox just came out last week. That game was fire, but it got overshadowed by Redfall's release, trash, and Jedi Survivor, and people are talking about those games. I feel like Xbox, they don't have the foresight to do what needs to be done, and I think it's the management they got over there. Bird, Matt Booty. I don't know about Sarah Bond because games have been coming into Game Pass. He has been getting those deals for Game Pass, so I think Sarah Bond is doing what she's supposed to do, but it you know everything else still falls underneath that Xbox division. The marketing, management of these studios, the quality that these games come out on. That's not Sarah Bond's fault. I think they need to get rid of Matt Booty and everybody else that's over there.
And listen to this, like, even though Hi-Fi Rush was a fantastic game for a Shadow Drop game, imagine what it could have done if they actually said, no, we're going to properly market this game and we're going to give it a release date. We're not going to Shadow Drop it in Game Pass. I think it would have done a lot better. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Obviously, we don't know the metrics of games that are on Game Pass, but I feel like that was... like, they missed the potential on actually trying to market something like Hi-Fi Rush. I think that could have done so much better if they would have not Shadow Dropped it.
Oh yeah, that game would have did numbers. Like if they would have showed some trailers with I can't even think of that dude's name, bro. What the hell's that dude's name? The main character?
Chai.
If they would have did some trailers with Chai talking, like messing with that little cat or talking to some of those other characters, I think marketed right, that game could have been, maybe like a brand new face of Xbox.
What a face of Xbox? Nah, I don't buy that.
I said a face of Xbox because everybody knows that Halo isn't what it used to be. Gears of War, the Coalition does whatever they do, but Gears of War 4 and 5 is nothing touching on the goddamn original trilogy.
The only other thing you have is a car.
And then it's Forza. That's it.
Yeah.
And because it used to be Xbox, like if you thought about Xbox, you would think about Halo, Gears, Forza on top of Fable. On top of Oblivion. Niggas ain't seen Avowed or nothing. So that's what I'm saying. Nope. Like,
imagine if they would have made a Banjo-Kazooie, like proper Banjo-Kazooie right now. I think the world would be on fire. Like,
shit, that's gonna be fire.
Nintendo lapped all the way to the bank when they sold Rare because Microsoft fumbling the bag right now with studios like Rare. Like Everwild, that one game's supposed to come out. They're like, we don't even know what type of game it. Yeah, they don't even know what type of game they're gonna make with that. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Right. Yeah, that's fact. Right. But that's what I'm saying though, Krow. I think marketed right. I think Xbox needs some new games to take over. Mm-hmm. I think these, Halo, Gears, and Forza, I think those games have reached that peak of that fatigue, and I think people are tired of getting that. You see what I'm saying? And Hi-Fi Rush came out. It did well, but that shit would have did gangbusters if they would have marketed Hi-Fi Rush.
Here's my take on it, right? We all know EA dropped the ball with FIFA, right? Yeah. If they get the FIFA franchise onto Microsoft, bro, that shit will come out and people will start fucking playing that game because everyone loves fucking FIFA. And people will go ahead and play that. And they got the money to do so because FIFA just said that we want $1 billion. Motherfuckers were willing to spend 69 on a fucking Activision. Give $1 billion to FIFA. Create your own fucking football game. And bro, you will start selling.
That's facts. What I mean? That's a good ass plan right there, Joker, because that shit will push consoles out the door. If they picked up FIFA and made that shit exclusive, that shit would push consoles out the door, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you, because especially in the Latin American side of things, European side of things, that shit will start selling quick as hotcakes, bro, because everyone loves football game, sports game, right? Mm-hmm. And they got the open opportunity to do so. And if they take that, they will start making money out of it.
That's fair. All right, Krow. Yeah. Krow, what you think about that, man? What you think about that, Krow? What's up?
Yeah, I don't have any thoughts on this, but like in the near future, I mean, all Microsoft has right now is Diablo 4. I mean, they're gonna have some bundles available. Hopefully they push some consoles with that one, but
yay.
Yeah, we gotta wait until Hellblade 2 comes out, man. Like these Unreal 5 games, and that truly, that truly make use of the 12 teraflop hardware, which actually it's funny that PS5 has been killing Xbox with like most of the third-party games, and like we got to see a game that takes full advantage of the Xbox Series X hardware. Hopefully we see that soon, man. Like it's just hard times for Microsoft, man. They just keep taking L after L, and like it's pretty sad to see right now. So let me ask you guys this: like, is Microsoft the third place right now? Like, would you say Nintendo and like Sony's the top dog right now? But
you ain't gotta even ask nobody that question, bro. Xbox is definitely in third place.
Xbox is dead last. And if we're gonna go on Switch sales, it would probably be Nintendo #1 right now. But if we were to go like in the past, it would definitely be like PlayStation with PS4 and PS5. But
I think it depends on how you look at that conversation
because the Switch is fucking popular in Japan because people love their handhelds over in Japan.
I think it depends on how you look at that conversation because you can own a PS5 and be good to go with all your gaming needs.
Yeah.
If you only own a damn Nintendo Switch, you gotta wait for those first party only Nintendo games. And other than that, you ain't getting hardly any third party games hardly.
But people are
on the cloud.
People also look at the Switch as I think the Switch is definitely more of a secondary console. Like you get a PC, an Xbox, or a PlayStation, and then you get the Switch as your secondary console for either the portability.
That's not what they call it, melodic. You know what they call it. Say that shit with your chest. They call that shit the side bitch.
Side bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, but being the side bitch is being beneficial for Nintendo right now, though.
Facts. Yeah, Nintendo was doing big.
The 3DS was the best side bitch. Man.
Facts.
Game Boy Advance too.
You cannot, nobody can sleep on what Nintendo was doing, bro. And with that old hardware, bro, Tears of the Kingdom is about to break the internet, bro.
Game of the Year is coming out next week.
Bro, now Nintendo's we all know Nintendo's got a handheld. Yeah, imagine if they dropped a fucking actual console, which is not a handheld, because GameCube was fucking powerful as shit.
Love GameCube.
It was. GameCube
I love the GameCube. I love.
Speaking of that, we need a brand new Star Fox Adventures ASAP, bro.
I want a new Earthbound, if anything, but Earthbound's never gonna happen.
I ain't gonna get too far off topic, Krow. My bad, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, my bad.
Yo, it's all good. Yeah, so in regards to this topic, I definitely appreciate you guys' passion and everything with these topics here. And so actually, before we ended off, did you have any other final ending statements for this Microsoft deal not going through?
Okay,
people on Twitter need to be real. Get over it. Just stop talking about it. I'm tired of fucking listening to this shit about all acquisitions. Done. Done.
If Xbox is not dead right now, they're dying right now until they can manage studios and get the games that they already announced out.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's definitely sad news here. So yeah, we're gonna end it off here, and appreciate you guys' inputs, and let's go on with our outros, and let's start with Joker Gamer V3.
Yo, thanks for having me again, Krow, for the season 2 starting episode. Good to see Melodic speaking to Deli. Obviously, shout out to the homie who left in the middle of the podcast to do his own thing. And also, yo, Bam, good to see you again, Kuh.
Yes, sir.
And shout out to Def Floyd and Carl Classic Cage and Gray and everyone and Windu showing up on the friggin' chat, speaking, chatting. Love the input that you guys gave. And Krow, thank you for asking me back again, bro, before I go on my trip. And I know you pulled some strings around with the dates, so much love for that.
Where you going?
I'm going to enjoy
corners before you go on that trip. You heard?
But on that note, I hope you guys, I hope I can catch you guys on the gaming platforms of your choices. But me, I'll be on my PlayStation because my PC took a shit and my motherboard's gone. So. Other than that, it was fun chopping it up with all of you, and take care until next time. Peace.
Wait, you said your PS5 died on you? What happened?
No, my PC.
Okay. Oh no, man.
Smoking that good shit.
Yo, it's always a pleasure, Joker, and I appreciate your insight as always. And we got the two-faced homie, Bam V3. Appreciate you playing.
Yes, sir, man. It's always a pleasure, man, coming in here, coking and joking. Melodic, it's always good talking to you, brother. Joker, hey, like I said, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need my $5 off some corners, because you only a $5 hole. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Deli, man, and everybody else who pulled up in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all, bro. Till next time.
Yeah, for sure. Always a pleasure, Bam. And We also got the pretty dope guest, one of my favorite guests of the show, TheMelodicPunk. It's always a pleasure having you on.
Thank you for having me on and working out a deal to get me back for season 2. Honestly, like this year has just been kind of like I haven't been doing a lot in terms of gaming, just because gaming right now has just been, it's in a really weird state. But with things like Spider-Man 2 coming out in the future, and of course next week when Zelda comes out, words cannot describe how excited I am for Zelda. You're going to be seeing me play this shit for probably like 10 hours within the first day. I'm actually still playing through Master Mode on Breath of the Wild right now. If my Switch didn't like reset all my playtimes and everything, I'd probably have 200 hours in Breath of the Wild currently. But great to be back. Follow me on YouTube at TheMelodicPunk. I'll probably have some Tears of the Kingdom stuff coming soon for that. Follow me on Twitter. Most of the time, right now you just see me post a lot of music stuff. I've been really busy on the music grind, so if you also want to follow my music stuff, Spotify, Apple Music, Trenton Walls, YouTube for music, Trenton Walls, and have a good night.
Yeah, most definitely. So I appreciate you guys tuning in the chat. It's been a while since we made a podcast, and yeah, man, the panel definitely killed it. And shout out to Cult Classic Cage. She did say solid podcast, great panel, be well everyone. So appreciate that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so y'all be safe, and catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Let's talk. Woo.